Peace, everyone. We are on
Yeah, we
episode,
back finally.
another episode.
We back. Newest
Staying
episode
consistent.
of HHDG Media, the podcast. You hear me? You hear me good? Everything good? The levels is good? The levels is good?
Yep.
Cool, man. Well, y'all saw the advertisement, man. This is HHDG Media, the podcast. I'm your boy, the mayor. That DJ named Ace5. I had to make my return for this one, y'all. But as always, the man who's created the master plan for this podcast, the one and only.
Peace, y'all. Wiki, as always. Open the neighborhood to give you that new fly music.
Yes, sir. And tonight, once Wiki adds him in, I got it right here. We got special guest, legendary, as he mentioned in many of his songs, Patterson Project's own, with the Bronx Angeles flow, the one and only Percee P. What's going on, good brother?
I'm good, brother. Hey, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all really reaching out and give me, some love on the platform. So I would definitely appreciate that. Oh, I can't hear y'all.
Yeah. Your mouth is moving, but we didn't hear you yet. We definitely appreciate you first and foremost, man, for coming through. We chopped it up for like a quick minute just to make sure everything was good beforehand. But again, I gotta say, Ian, you killed it with this one because you was able to grab a hold of one of my favorite MCs, and you know this personally. Percee P has been one of my favorite MCs for a very long time. Ian.
Definitely, yeah. It was kind of crazy how it all set up too, because there was a Mad Lib. Was it Mad Lib post for his birthday, right?
His birthday, yeah. His birthday.
Yeah. And Percy commented, and then we talking back and forth for a minute, and then the rest is here we are right now.
Oh yeah.
Dope. Well,
yeah.
As we call you Wiki for a reason, and the cyberpunk that you are, you always make things happen, man. So first and foremost, I mean, Percee, introduce yourself to the people.
Well, the Prime Inspector Percee P, straight out of South Bronx, Patterson Projects. You know what I'm saying? So I moved out to LA and moving around, but in LA from South Bronx to LA, I'll say the 718 to the 818, keeping it 100. So the Bronx Angeles, So that's what it is. But I've been in the game for a long time. Rhyming since 1979. I mean, my very first record was released in 1988. And to this present date, that's how long I've been around. So it's a long time, but I'm still here, persevering, throughout the decade.
Rhyming since I've been born, because I was born in 79. That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy, man. So as we ask all our guests in the beginning, usually, the name Percee P, where did it come from, and how did it become your rap name?
Well, my full name is John Percee Simon. John Percee Simon. So my mother and everybody in my family call me Percee, my middle name. John, I mean, people call me at like school, when I went to school, teachers, work, whatever, jobs, whatever. They just John Simon. But people around the neighborhood and projects that grew up in my family, everybody call me Percee. So I was so accustomed to using that name, but I just changed the spelling of my name. It's Percy. So as an artist, I put the two E's, the double E's, like the old school MCs. So I said the rhyme inspector, Percee P, because Percee P is like Spoonie G, Kumo D, Busy B, those names like that, the 70s, you know what I'm saying? So I'm from that time, I grew up, like I said, my mom's had me when she moved to Patterson House, I was 2 years old. So, and I was born in 69. So hip hop with Kool Herc was 73. So you figure I was born into this, you know what I'm saying? It was at the infancy stages. So by the time 79 came around, that's the year of the first rap recordings, like Sugar Hill Gang. But there was jams in the park already happening. But I just kind of grew up right there in the housing project where a lot of that was popping off at Patterson Housing. But that whole area, other project across the street, even Mitchell, Melrose, uptown, like Webster Ave, Bronx River, Monroe houses, just all over. and even the Harlem, like, but I'm just trying to say from those times I grew up in that era where park jams was prevalent. So using my name Percee P was more like that era. That's what names, people use names like that. Now I use the rhyme inspector in front of my name because you always had a title like the Chief Rocker Busy B, the Grandmaster Flash, the Grand Wizard Theodore, the Microphone Wizard DLB, the Devastating Tito. You know what I'm saying? So I thought the rhyme inspector speaks something highly. An inspector is somebody you got to come to for approval. He must be that good. So I thought like that when I made my names.
Yeah, I feel that, and now as I think about how when I do my intros usually on the podcast, I feel like now I'm akin to that era because my DJ name was Ace 5, but now I always say that DJ named Ace 5. so now that you break it down like that, I feel akin to that era in a way.
And I could say this too. I just wanted to throw in that my mother, her youngest brother, her youngest sibling, my Uncle Jesse, right? My Uncle Jesse, his name was DJ Cooley Breeze. So back in the 70s, he's still alive, but I'm just saying. But back in the 70s, my grandmother who passed away, her name was Sadie Hartley. She back in the Bronx in 997 Morris Avenue. As a kid, I used to go to her house. That's where she resided as a kid. I used to go there. But my Uncle Jesse used to be in a crew called the Undefeated Force. And he was the DJ Cooley Breeze. That's my uncle name. But the other people that was down with his crew was a guy named Bombay, the amazing Bombay, Dio Zong, Tila Rock. Tila Rock, you know, is the lyrical king, Tila Rock, Special K's brother from the Treacherous Three. You know what I'm saying? But Tila Rock and them used to all come to my grandmother's house. So that too inspired me because coming to my grandmother's house, my uncle would be in the room DJing, you know, you could hear them just in there practicing, but I was a little kid. But when I left my grandmother's house to come back to Patterson Projects, my mother would take us back home. You passing a bunch of projects, you know what I'm saying? So you hear the jam, especially in the summertime. Oh, they're jamming in Melrose, they're jamming in Mitchell's, they're jamming in my Haven Project across the street from Patterson. They're jamming in Clark Park, they're jamming in 18 Park in Patterson Project. In Patterson, it was probably like 3 different parks they would throw jams at. 18 Park, the middle, the square, the other side. We say the other side. From my side, it's like the other side. But Clark Park is right across the street from Patterson, right down the block from where I grew up. But if you look at Henry Chalfant, the documentarian who made the documentary Star Wars, you look at, if you type up Henry Chalfant and type up like G-Man, Henry Chalfant, G-Man, you'll see Patterson Projects, G-Man, in Clark Park. You'll see like images that you normally see when you type up hip hop jams in the park. A lot of that stuff is my area, people from my project. You'll see that. But when you look at Henry Chalfant, he titled the people, but most people know those images, but not the people. But I see people that I knew growing up. So I mean, a lot of that stuff was around my area. The Writer's Bench that people know is legendary Writer's Bench, Grand Concourse, 149th Street. That's still my area. Train station, you know what I'm saying? Fashion Motor is like 147th Street on 3rd Avenue. Patterson Project ends on 145th Street. But 3rd Avenue is between Morris and 3rd Avenue. So when you go down to 147th, that was like an art gallery. But Henry Chalfant made a documentary with extra bonus footage that he just showed from like 1982, 83. Early days of like graph writers in their early stages, Don D, when they was just little teenagers, like 15-year-old kids, legendary people like that. At that time, he thought to capture all those images and document that stuff. And it's very important. Kind of like when me and Lord Finesse battled. It was the smartest thing we did. My man was like, let me go get my camera. And that's how we have that to watch now. So what if we never did that? So that's very important to document things as you go along, you know?
Yeah, damn it, man. You fast forwarded through a lot of shit already.
I'm sorry,
Nah, all good. Yo, brother, all fucking good. Because I wanted to get to that Lord Finesse and you battle, but in a second, because as you're describing, like you pretty much picked up the culture and the music part, I guess, through osmosis. Through obviously you were there from the birth of it. You know, you were there from the birth. So was it MCing that got you first, or was it your uncle and the turntables that got you?
Well, it was just coming to my grandma's house. I saw them. My oldest brother, my mom's got 6 kids, but 5 boys, 1 girl. I'm the second out of all of the children. But my oldest brother's 5 years older than me, but he's 2 years younger than my Uncle Jesse. So they're still the same age group where he could hang with them. So, but when I came back to my mother's apartment in the projects, my brother had equipment in the house. So he DJ'd and rhymed. So I just had that. Plus, he had all those tapes of places I probably couldn't go. The T Connection tapes at the Harlem World, like all that kind of stuff that I was a little young, but I collected. I had copies. And by the time I got to high school, I had a collection of these tapes, and I'm meeting people who had tapes I didn't have, building my collection. I trade you, make me a copy of this. So I had a lot of this that I saw, plus jams like T Connection, Harlem World, Stardust Ballroom, The Feet, all that kind of stuff. Savoy Manor jams like Bronx River Center. Like I had a lot of that kind of tapes, recordings and stuff for the early days of hip hop. So, it was just like, now I'm trying to recollect what you asked me because I'm getting sidetracked.
Yeah, was it the rhyme? Was it the rhyme like that? Like, did you aspire to rhyme first, or was it maybe DJ?
Yeah. Nah, I never tried to DJ, but I learned how to DJ a little bit because when you're an MC, the earliest days of hip hop, a lot of times it was the DJ really that before the rapping it was DJing. So when you went to Cat's house, like if I went to make a tape rhyming over break beats, because that's how it was back in the beginning, it wasn't no rhyming over people like records now. People look at rap records now to rap over the instrumentals. But back in those 70s, you had to learn the name of the actual beats, like in Peace to President by Honey Drippers, or Let Me Get Funky President by Jane. You know what I'm saying? You had to learn these songs. Rufus Thomas, Funky Penguin. Let Me Get Billy Squire, Big Beat, The Coolest Back. So you had to know these songs. And then by the time rap records started coming out, some of them rap songs became like break beats, like Spoonie G Love Rap. People were rhyming over that. Like, yo, I'm gonna rhyme over that Love Rap. I'm gonna rhyme over T-Ski Valley, Catch the Beat. And me rhyme over Feel the Heartbeat by Treacherous 3. Like, so some of them records became like break beats to the rappers themselves. So that's what it was like for me. I just started rhyming. It was more, I was inspired by DJing, but I never really tried to DJ. I just saw how to do it and I learned, but I was stuck to rhyming. And that's what inspired me. So it's really the rhyming. I never wanted to do nothing else.
Right. And the crazy thing you mentioned when you talk about having to know the songs and stuff back then, you also had to fight the battle of looking at that record. And I know in that era, a lot of DJs would white label over their joints so nobody could steal what that joint was.
That's what it was.
Like that was a fight. You had to try to figure out what's the record.
Yeah, but also that was the good thing about hip hop then, the purity of it. It was like a reward for a DJ to stumble upon something that he ran across a Jew. Oh, this one song, it's got a beat on it. Let me try to find another copy without telling other people what he got. He might write off the label, rinse it off, because that was their weapon. So when you went to a park jam, certain beats you only heard at certain people's park jams. You never heard these beats from nobody else, unless you had to go to like a Bambaata's park jam or Cool Herc Party. Flash had certain records that you didn't hear probably nowhere else. So that's what it was like. Yo, I heard this beat at Flash Jam. I'm gonna go to that the next one they do. So that's what it was like. So if you heard a beat, you might have recorded it in the park. Dude standing out in the audience with their box at the time, standing by the speakers and just playing it and be like, yo, this beat right here, what is that? So only a few DJs that really knew the record that had a bunch of stuff, they might have, but a lot of them kept it to themselves because they wanted to have stuff to throw on that nobody could really find it nowhere else. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they wanted to do basically. So it was more like a weapon to a lot of these cats to DJ. You know what I'm saying?
100%. And like I will say, you had a cheat code by way of your uncle and your brother, because they might have had the joints too. But like as we just mentioned, like rest in peace Biz Markie, and talking about how you had shit that nobody else had, and until till his untimely passing, like he will say that he is one of maybe he was saying that he was one of maybe 2 or 3 other people in the world who allegedly had the bell-less Take Me to the Mardi Gras. You know what I'm saying? So it's finds like that every DJ used that as a weapon to win a battle. To win a battle. And now that we're on,
sometimes the audience is like, yo, I ain't never heard this only at this person's park jam or the parties. You can't hear this nowhere else. So that was the secret. You come back here if you want to hear more. You go come back for more. Like Cool Herc would say. But that's what it was like. So the certain, same thing with certain crews. Got on the mic, they did search it. Nobody was like, yo, there ain't nobody rocking like these cats. Like, the only way you're gonna hear it is at their parties. And that's what it was like. The early days, it wasn't like now. We got the internet, we have social media, we have these cats have to carry sound systems, and two, also the sound systems what made people come to jams, because back in those days, you had, like, I know in Patterson Projects, it was like DJ B and Company. They had a big ass, like 8 big bass bottoms stacked on top of each other, 8, and then with tweeters and shit on top. But then on the other side, 8 stacks. So it's 2 stacks of 8 speakers. Then a baseball park, right, with your home plate. The speakers was facing the audience, like out in the field, and the rope was around in front of the speakers, going around the back of with the Empire and all that behind you. So that's where the people who had the juice, you know, back in the day, they used terms like, yo, we got juice, get behind the ropes. You couldn't get behind the rope if you had no juice. So it was like a big thing too, just to be behind the ropes. It was like, wow, you must be somebody like VIP type of service, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, word. And both of us being DJs in our past, and you know, we understand that, especially the equipment carrying part.
Absolutely.
We are of that late 90s era where we still had to carry vinyl, we still had to carry speakers, receivers, amps, all. Yeah, we understand, but we didn't have the big, like Ian's uncle is of the big boxes and the big sound systems.
Yeah.
So it's just like DJ Baron and Breakout. They had a big sound. They was known for a big sound system too. Sasquatch. They had names, like certain crews had. Yo, they got a sound system. Go against them, they're gonna blow you out. Don't batter them. Because back then it was about the sound too. If they battered you, it was more like, we're gonna blow them out because we got way more bass bottoms. We got the beats. We got more records. They ain't got these beats. So that was a part of the battle too. So it just wasn't about rapping. It was about who had beats. The crowd going like, oh, the sound. So all of it, you know what I'm saying, came in, and equipment. Because sometimes some cats had lighting systems and all that. And you got to figure, this was back in the 70s. With you know how it was back then. 365 an hour was like in the 80s, I believe. People make that minimum wage 365. So just imagine the 70s. You affording big ass bass bottoms that like the stuff costs thousands of dollars. How do you get this? But then you figure that blackout 1977, and contributed to all of that. People having equipment like, oh, so. But in reality, that helped the culture. That created this. What if 10 years? Think about this for a minute. From 1970 to 1973 to like 83, Run DMC come out. But from 73 to 83. These were park jams. They wasn't getting shut down like right now. If you set up in a park right now, you know cops gonna, you need a permit, you're gonna shut it down. But somehow that we got away with 10 years or more of actually throwing jams without no interference. But that birthed this culture that's worldwide now.
Yep.
So it really did. And you got to figure where it happened. Like in a place like the South Bronx, you know the deprivation that was going on there. And people could have had so much to do, but it contained a lot of people, kept people in the area for a time that there was a lot of wilding going on, but people still was like, kind of like, nah, we want this, we need this. So they preserved it. Nobody messed nothing up. The other park jams was thrown and people inspired to do the same thing. And it just spread the culture and it really benefited the people. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of ways, it helped me. It got me through a lot of, gave you something to look forward to.
Like immediately, you said the blackout. I had it in my head. Where were you when the lights went out in New York City? I wasn't even alive, but I'm aware because I got parents that I've heard the joint. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But go ahead, Ian. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying that's definitely an important part of actually keeping the community together. Those jams.
Yeah, it's definitely different now. Like, it was a wild time back then, man. But I saw people bringing kids around, with strollers. I remember going to jam. I saw girls with maybe a baby stroller sitting on the bench with music. Nobody wasn't really thinking, even though there was guns and shit going on. But people was kind of like protective, especially in the project. Everybody kind of know each other, so it was like people watching out for each other. But people was throwing parties that might have ended like 3 a.m. Like, yo, damn, they're still jamming. But nobody wasn't tripping. It was more like, I know my kids downstairs, they jamming outside. So and so, his big brother out there watching, people looking out for each other. So it also inspired people to do something else with their lives. You had dudes like me. I was rhyming since 10 years old, but that inspired me to I could have been something else if I never wanted to rap. Maybe I could have tried to sell drugs to somebody, but I didn't. It's like I wanted to do that. So it kept me going and hanging around people that was doing something. Oh, go to your house and make a tape. Back then, before you go to studio, you might want to go to somebody's house to rhyme over break beats and make a tape. Or if somebody throw a party, a house party, you go on DJ room, he's in the bedroom, the speaker's in the living room, you trying to get in the bedroom to say, yo, man, can I get on the mic? You rhyming through his headphones or something. You know what I'm saying? So little stuff like that you get. But before I had even type of going to real studios, we was forced to make pause tapes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I was rhyming up with pause tapes and things. But so that's how much of the culture that people was just engraving. You find out other people doing the same thing. Like, you made pause tapes too? Yeah, I did that work. I know how to fix pop tapes, everything. Like, I knew when people do a tape, I knew how to fix it. Like, I ain't saying that. I know how to all that. I learned how to do it. So it was just a part of the culture.
Absolutely, man. Like I definitely got a box of doctored tapes in the house right now. We definitely do. Definitely do.
Like they use the counter on the box. You know how they had the counter on the radio? So they made the pause tape, you wind it back and press 0 so you can know exactly where and all that, man. Like, it was just something that you thought you did, but you realized that it was universal thinking. People were doing it. You doing that too? Yeah, I was doing that. I know, okay. So that just shows how innovative and creative people, we are very creative people. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Well, that's fact. Black folks is definitely some, if not the most creative people in the world, man. But again, I mean, you're speaking from this because you were there from the infancy of this culture. Like, you're giving us and the people that are watching a totally different view from somebody who was legitimately there in the heart of it. And conversations and points like that you're making is super, super important. Like, especially when you talked about the neighbors knew each other. The kids would be downstairs chilling. Like, that sense of community, as we're talking about, people don't know nowadays and stuff like that. I talking about it on the Start 5 podcast recently, where it's like we lost that sense of community in many ways, where the neighbor was able to check you. The neighbor was able to tell your parents this and that. Nowadays, it evolved from the early 2000s on to, well, who the hell are you to talk to my child? Who the hell are you to do this and do that? And, oh, that's such and such kid from over there. He's a little badass. And then just let him go. Instead of being, yo, come here, Dave. Like, what are you doing out here in these streets so late? Whatever. Just like community keeping an eye on each other. Like, that's a huge problem that we still fight today with, that there's so much divisiveness behind it.
But I think also, too, programs that used to exist. Like, I know when I grew up, my mom's put all of us in like camp. Like, all the housing projects had a community center, like Patterson Center. So my mom sent us to Patterson Center summertime because they had Patterson Center, had counselors, some of you jobs. You know what I'm saying? You work as a counselor. When I got old enough, I even became a counselor, Patterson Center. So stuff like that. But those are the things that you did too that made the community, because the people that was working at center was people from the project.
Yeah, I love that.
100%.
So when you come pick you up, they knew your mother. Hey, miss, you know what I'm saying? So that's how it was. You knew people, family, you knew their brothers. Oh, I went to school with your brother. He was in my class. Oh, that's you, so-and-so little brother. All right, I got him. So that's how it was. And you kind of stayed within, when I get old enough, I want to work for Patterson Center. I want to work, you're doing that. And that too was the community coming together too, watching other people, and you watch when they had kids and their fathers and stuff. But it is different now. You can feel the difference with the disconnect with the community. Even the music ain't the same. It's like when I battled off Finesse, we was in a housing project, but it wasn't no violence. You saw how he was in my project, but it still was like about the music. It was more about the culture. Yeah, we didn't hear that. But see, nowadays, a battle might could have led to like violence, somebody trying to do something stupid, and instead of just keeping it on some hip hop. And look, after that, he even asked me to be on his album. So that just showed you how it was more a camaraderie, like connection through the music rather than animosity. And it wasn't even about that.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to get to now. Finally, was the battle thing and the battle scene in that era, which was like, it's nothing like how it is today. Because I tell you, I used to work for Rare Breed Entertainment, which is a battle rap company. Was a battle rap platform, they like to say best. And it evolved from things like what you and Finesse did or what the streets was doing before. So before we get to you and the Finesse battle, because I wanted to specifically talk about that and how that came about and stuff. What was the rhyme battle scene like before that? Like before you got to that point? What and
Well,
like before like what we got to see in like Wild Style stuff like that? Like what was the battle
well,
scene like before that?
well, really, what battles always probably existed in hip hop because it was more like you said, throwing jams. Who had the better sound system? People make tapes. We're gonna make a tape. If your tape is better than mine, we're gonna see how many people walking down the street playing whose tape, who could pull the most crowd at a jam, who's better. We're gonna let you rock first, and then we're gonna go and whoever the crowd cares for more. So that always existed, competitiveness, even b-boys. Nowadays, because every element in hip hop is it's always a competitive side. DJs, if a DJ standing next to another DJ, one DJ gonna feel like, wow, I know I'm better cut, I could scratch, I could juggle better. The MC gonna feel the same thing. Well, this dude is dope, but I'm gonna get up there and say my shit because I know I'm better. And just the b-boys too. A b-boy, like even if it's a part jam and music come on, it's a cycle full of b-boys. It's almost like a battle because everybody's trying to outdo this person. Well, I know I'm better. I'm gonna say this move. I'm gonna come out there and do something nobody probably gonna do. If somebody do something better, I'm gonna do this move. So it's still that competitive nature. You know what I'm saying? But that always existed. But I just think it wasn't like when me and Finesse battled, somebody just happened to have a camera. And I want to say shout out to my man Dave Gonzalez, my man, Divine. Like he actually recorded it. So it wasn't for him actually going to get that camera, we wouldn't even have that battle to look at. But the person who instigated the battle was the guy you see in the footage who introduced me and Lord Finesse. It's my man Tony Webb. He went to high school with Finesse, but they both was in class snapping and studies jokes a lot of times. So that's what I was told. Finesse that Tony's jokes still in school. But Tone will come to Finesse saying, Tone from my project. Finesse is from Forest Projects, where like Diamond D, Fat Joe and I'm from. But me and AG from Patterson Project. So for Tone used to tell Finesse shows this dude named Percee P from my project. He'd eat everybody in Forest, but he used to come back. Tone used to come back to me saying, this dude named Finesse from Forest, talking about he beat everybody in Patterson. I can't miss my man Percee P. Well, he was a lie. He's basically lying, gassing us both up. So it wasn't like, well, I want to go and do something, but I want to see how nice this cat is. So I would come outside and people used to be like, yo, this dude Finesse looking for you, P. I thought that was bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I thought everybody lying to me, trying to gas me up where he at. Oh, now he came right here, gassing me. So me and my partner, I don't know if you ever heard my first recording. It's called Let the Homicides Begin, but me and my rap partner, Danique, went to Forest looking for Finesse. Like, yo, tell him Percee P was looking for him. The same way he would come around. He knew AG. So he came with AG. But I heard the story, AG battled Lord Finesse. That's how they met. AG battled my rap partner. Before me and Lord Finesse had a battle, AG battled my rap partner, and I was there when he battled. So I almost felt like maybe he was with Finesse to battle me. You know what I'm saying? But even though he's from my project, but we all good. It's my people. But Finesse knew AG, so he was with him when he came to battle me like that. So it's more like that. So it's all good.
So how did it feel? So how did it feel then coming back years later to pretty much re-record that as a music video?
That was good because the guy who did the movie, his name is Jun Oki, Japanese cat. He was doing a school project at the time. This is years when I was standing by factories, slinging tapes and cassettes and CDs and stuff. But he asked me, he said, yo, man, I'm doing it. I know his roommate. His roommate is a guy named Toshi. And his roommate he already knew me personally. But June, I didn't know. June knew AG and all of them. So Toshi said, I know probably Percee. I can try. And June met me. And I was like,
now, is this DJ Toshi?
Not that Toshi. Not that
okay,
Toshi.
Okay.
But he knew him, and basically he was telling him that I'm shooting a film, and I heard that you battled Law Finesse and stuff. Do you know anybody who would have it on tape? Because there was an audio of it. It was video, but we made audio of it. So people first heard that audio on a mass appeal level when Stretch and Bobito. I bought that to them, so they played it over the air, a little bit of that battle, so people knew it existed. Like, wow. But years later, when June came up to me talking about I'm shooting this documentary for a school project, because he did documentaries, he did videos, music videos in Japan. But when he came to New York, he went to some films. He went to a school, like a college for film, even though he made movies, but he took that up. And I guess the college asked him to make a little small project. So he thought, I'm gonna make a documentary. I'm gonna talk to Lord Finesse, AG, all of them, and how he met me. And I was talking about the battle. Yeah, who got the battle? I told him about some people in the project. My man Wu. He asked people, he asked around, he asked Wu, and Wu dug through his VHS tapes and found the whole battle. But at the tape, the tab on the tape, the VHS was off. So it was just a tape without the tab covering it. But he had it restored. So when you watch the original battle, sometimes it looked like it need tracking. You know what I'm saying? You saw how his lines come through, but that made it more authentic and official. Like, oh shit, you could tell some real shit. But he said, yo, you know how, you did something for so long ago. That battle was July 13th, 1989. So July 13th, 1989. But when I saw that battle again, it's like 2003. So can you imagine years of, battle, who got the tape? It all of a sudden went underground. Like, well, who got it? So-and-so got it. I'm asking, you don't got it? Nah, I ain't got it. So-and-so got it. You keep going, you ain't got it. I don't know. I got to probably look for it. So he's like, damn. So I told June. June said, I told people about money. I guess he told my man Wu, what the money, fine, I give you. He found it. He said, guess what, Percee? I said, what? I found the battle. Do you know I wanted to see that battle? I go, yo, you got it? The one I could see it. He purposely waited to get me and Lord Finesse together to watch the battle for the first time after years. We sat in his house.
That's fire.
He had us sitting there watching it, but he was recording us watching it, which is on the bonus footage of the DVD. If you watch the DVD, that's the bonus footage. Me and Lord Finesse sitting there watching this like real time, like right now. So we're looking at it like, oh shit. And it's almost like, damn, I see my whole life. I was looking at me so young. I can't believe, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at me like, damn. I was like 20 years old when I battled Lord Finesse, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, damn. So I'm watching it, but at the same time, I was proud, like, I'm still here. Like, this dude ain't rapping no more. He just gave up. But I'm bugging like how something so long ago is talked about, is propelled in the future and boosted back into publicity, you know what I'm saying? Where everybody knowing notoriety. So it kind of, that movie too also gave it a longevity and breathe life back into that battle. But also I realized with the battle scene, that battle was something that some people had and watched at the time when they had access to the tape. People sat around and watched that battle. Like the same way we watch these rap battles now, people was watching that in the project, like looking at the tape, and it just went underground. But there's people that, I'm watching that battle. You got the tape? So people were saying that to me for years. Well, y'all got a tape of it? Yeah, I got to find it. But until June make that documentary and then put it on YouTube, now people could really see it. And that's probably like the oldest footage of me. You know what I'm saying? That battle. Because I was in hip hop doing stuff, but nobody really had equipment like that. Taping. I was lucky my man had that camcorder. We lucky we waited for him. We could have just went at it. He was like, hold on, let me go get my camcorder. So we was on the other side of the project. We walked in front of his building, which was on my side of the project. We just walked over there, stood outside waiting for him to come back. Smartest thing we did. Because that's how we have it now. Never knowing that it was going to be history.
Thank you.
And hip hop, thank you for it.
Definitely.
Yeah, to me, that's like a part of my legacy. That's probably one of the biggest things I did in my career. As an artist, I've done some things, but I'm just saying that battle is one of my highlights because it's like showing and proving that if people didn't give me no acknowledgement, that battle is saying I existed. You can see I didn't sound like I started rapping either. We watched that battle. It didn't sound like I was just starting. Like you could tell I was doing it for a while. Mm-hmm. And I felt proud because when I look at the battle, I'm like, damn, that's what I was on. I was like 20 years old at that time. But in '88, I had made a record. I was on Red Alert Show, Kiss FM, Pink Love Show, also. They played me. My first recording was to play it weekly rotation. So I know, I just didn't start. But that battle is also something that kind of made me say, if I don't get no acknowledgement, that battle is showing that I really wasn't around for a long long time. People want to give me credit or not. That's something that nobody can take away from me. You know?
Word. And as you mentioned, like, because it did show like your experience level within that battle. You know, it definitely showed you've been doing this for a minute, and your flow is one that I don't think I really ever hear anybody else touch ever. Like it's just so unique to you that it's hard to deny. Yo, that's Percee P. You don't sound like nobody else. And like I go back, I was just past couple days. Even though every year I revisit your Perseverance album, which we'll probably get to in a little while, but every year I at least revisit that album a few times because it's fire. Two brothers from the gutter, still the contra beat, all that. But as I'm listening to your bars, like just yesterday, like I'm listening to you rhyme and trying to count the beat, and then it's like you hit the four, like you hit the four, but then sometimes your rhymes will then you got so many like internal rhymes that it'll hit
There
on
you
the
go.
two and then the four and then it'll two and then no it'll go 2 4 and then sometimes it'll flip back around and it'll be on the 1 and then the 3 and then the 1
Yeah.
and then the 3 and then back to the 2 and the 4. Like, how did you develop that style?
Hey,
How?
you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I said this before. I write my rhymes with no music. All my rhymes, I write it that way. I don't like to use the beat because I get tired of it. I could just know I like a beat. I'm gonna use that. But when I write it, I rhyme at my own tempo. So when you rhyme off the head, in your own time, you can say it real slow, and you don't have to keep up with the beat if you rhyme to it. So I just know, and I write my own rhymes, so it's a signature style. But sometimes if you write into a beat, it could change the actual way you rap because you're trying to perform to that beat. So I stick to my sound, the way I do with words and at my own pace. I put it together and then I master it, and then I'll go spit it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, just something like God. God give everybody a fingerprint. We all have our own identity. So it's the same thing with being an MC. Like, what is it about you that's going to make you different? I just know when I rap, I might not be a scream or yellow type of rap, but I just want it to be something about me that you know it's me. Maybe, I don't know, my voice is distinctive, but I just want people to at least hear my flow, like that's Percee P. This is not how he's flowing. And some people will say, oh, he just used a bunch of words that rhyme. I said, nah, you ain't really listening to how I connect. My words make sense. I make sense for synthesis. You're just not connecting it and putting it together. And there's an art to that. It's an art to it. I use a whole bunch of words. It's like a puzzle. I look at my words like puzzles. You see me using my hand? It's like I see grabs. I can't help it. It's like something that comes when I use my fingers. If you ever saw me rapping, a lot of people are like, y'all, you do it. But it's like
doing it now.
it's something like it's something I can't help. It's like a part of helping me enunciate my words. You know what I'm saying? When I'm rapping, because at a faster flow, to be on the beat, but still articulate each word precisely and enunciate all that shit on the beat at the timing. So my fingers are kind of like a help, like a cat using his tail for balance. So it's like that. If I put my hand down to rap, I probably won't get through it as clear and articulate the way I'll be doing it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a part. I made it a part of my craft of me performing when I perform. It's like I use it, and they used to be like, "Why you do this?" But it became like a trademark too. Oh man, damn, how you use his fingers? So it helps, and I can't describe it. People say, "How do you write like that?" It's just like something I do. I can't say this is how I do it. I just know I don't use music when I do it. But when it come out, I've been doing it so long, I already trademark. It's the certain things I do, like you said, the turn rhyme schemes and stuff. I know what I was doing. At first, people didn't know what it was. As time went on, you see people doing it. I see people doing stuff that I was doing, but I might not have gotten credit for it. But people starting to catch on because I don't know if you ever listen to my playlist. Have you ever listened to my playlist I put on my Instagram? You see it?
Yeah.
You could, when you listen to it as entirety, you can see I don't rhyme the same in every song. Every song ain't the same. Right. I hear you the same flow, you rhyme the same. I said, no, listen to Man of Praise. Man of Praise do not sound like Lone Collapse and Lyrics. Lone Collapse and Lyrics don't sound like Master Craftsman. Master Craftsman don't sound like Two Brothers from the Gutter flow. They don't. I have different flows, but it's like, to me, I do it because it's me trying to make sure I'm not monotonous, too repetitious. With some artists just rhyme the same pattern. You could hear the same flow, line up the line, line up the line. I don't do that. I say bars that could be like maybe 4 bars, compound. Then I get 5 and 6. I reach 7 compounds. I could use like I say I'm ill with real slick lines you feel quick and still lit. Ain't no mill tick, bar and quill trick unless you peel trick. Like that's 7 right there. But it's how I'm putting it together. It's saying a full sentence. It's not just the words. It is connecting, saying the full sentence. But it's how I use it while I'm on the beat. It's the time when I come in, because too, it's the timing. It's the timing. People can hear the beat, but how you rhyme like that? You have to hear. You have to know it. I know music. I know the timing. Without the music, I'm doing this without music. So I'm knowing already in my head, okay, I gotta start right here for it to land on the beat. You gotta learn, you gotta master that time and space too. So I did that. And after a while, you gotta learn how to, if you rhyme like this, how to go to the next line and trigger another flow and still be on beat. I can go slow and then speed it to fast. I call it mega thrust flows. I bust those mega thrust flows, so I could just be going like this and makes like it just turn and then it go back to like slowing up. And really, that's kind of like with the double time. And when people say double time rapping, that is double time if you think of it, but it's not as fast, but it is speeding up that. Like when some people within this space right here, let me count. Within this space right here, some people might could fit maybe 4 compounds within that space. But in that same space, Percee P might get 7. So that's how I think of it. I'm gonna try how much I can get in one and say more. So by time, it's an art to that, but it's also hard. It makes it harder to write because when you constantly trying to formulate stuff, and it makes it harder now. You're like, damn, you're making it harder on yourself, but it also propels the culture of MCing. Because it makes the next person have to push your envelope now. Like, damn, that show's crazy how I do it. So that's good when you have people like Eminem's and the lyrical cast that pushes it, the Pharaoh Marches and them, right? So that's what I want to do. I like that because that makes you better. It's like you're a boxer. If somebody put you in, this is a good example. If you're a little kid and you're like 10 years old and your mom said you went downstairs with the basketball and you just use your size, your age, but then there's 13-year-old, 14-year-old kids right there. If you play with those 14-year-old kids, you're going to be better. You're going to get better than playing with them 10-year-olds because you're going to have to try harder, but it's going to make you better. In the long run, when you're going to be the bomber, you're going to be like, damn, it's more easier to, you know what I'm saying? So if you push yourself and don't just settle for like, just do these 4 little words. Nah, I'll be pushing it. And I try to do the patterns and the flows, the schemes, make it extra harder. But when you get a verse and it's all that, and then you listen to it, and then when it's done and you're hearing on the song, yo, that shit's crazy. But they don't know the process. But the reward is, yo, that shit was dope. The hip hop quotable in the source. And I even said this when I was quotable in the source. I said I'm high potent. Much time into one rhyme, every line of mine is worth quoting. That's before I was quotable. It was obviously I manifested my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you don't believe in yourself, ain't nobody else gonna be a believer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, word. And that mental metronome is what you was talking about. Is having it up there to know to be able to go in without paper. And then like when you mentioned putting 2 lines and then trying to fit what you can. Like I remember hearing an interview from Rakim saying that's how he writes. Like he puts 2 markings, fits what he can in that, then moves, fits what he can. But then with you and the way your styles and your flows, like a person like myself, like I said, is DJing and stuff and understanding like BPMs, understanding that like lyrical flows too. You got to pay attention to those to match records to mix. Yours is like I said, it's just so unique that when I can hear you, I can tell it's you by your flows, but it's the way that you like you find your ways to stretch words, the way you say words. Like I'm saying here, like we'll say smart water, or you'll say smart water, and like the way you break it and place yourself is like it just works. And to know that you do it without a beat, Ian, it's crazy.
It's impeccable, And then when he just spit lines just now, when he was using his hands with the highs and the lows, he was cutting off at certain points, and that that's the same thing that he's just talking about.
Right.
That's unique.
that's called a mnemonic device, right? Like something that
Yeah.
helps
Mm-hmm.
you. Yeah, there
Yep.
you
Well, you
go.
know what? It's very refreshing for me to actually be talking about stuff like this. The process of, because when I write, you be hoping that people analyzing that aspect of listening to the verse, not just the words, but how you place this, how you put it together, who appreciates stuff like this. So when this battle culture, this battle rap culture started, that's the heads that started listening to the rhymes. They started stop being about, nah, this is what he just said. That was the greatest thing I could have ever heard. Because when I was battling off finesse, I thought I was saying some stuff, vocab that people might not have been putting it. I think now when people watch it, they have more appreciation for it. Because now people like Eminem's and all these guys accustomed to people, their brains to think on a higher plane of listening and analyzing rhyme structures and stuff. So now to analyze it now, I think you could have more appreciation for like, damn, he's spitting this then. And look at it. Vocabulary still flows, some of the same rhymes. When I battle off finesse, when you listen to since you know Perseverance, go back and watch the battle I had with Lord Finesse, July 13th, 1989. The first rhyme in the battle is my strong throwback rap attack, from Perseverance. When I said, he kindled the maze after displays his, but when I said, I just changed the words around for Madlib, I said, Madlib amaze after displays his track, scratch and catch the record, I matched the tempo with lyrics to swing those strings attached. Listen to the battle and listen to Throwback Rap Attack. I used those rhymes and just turned it into a song because I was asked to do it by this guy, Egon. He runs Now Again label, Now Again Records, but he's the A&R Stone.
You know about him.
So he watched that battle and was like, yo, you could say those rhymes now. I was like, nah, there's an old rhyme. Nah, man. So I said, all right, I listened to it. And I said, I'm going to use that. I'll use that. And I just used that title, Throwback Rap Attack. I started off the battle with that rhyme. If you listen to the second verse of the battle, the Long Collapsing Lyrics lines on that. Long Collapsing Lyrics came out in 92, but that battle was 89. Then the third battle, the third verse of I said was Let the Homicides Begin. If you listen to it, that's the rhyme that I said. Let the homicides begin. After the mess up, Lil Park come apart and he didn't come out. So it was like, oh, the man can help you. But I could spit rhymes without nobody helping. But it was just that was my rap partner. He had my back. He know my shit. Like I'm saying, he cut in. But I decided to spit Let the Homicides Begin, which was 1988. That battle was 89. Then the last verse, I used bars and my song Putting Heads to Bed a little bit, but this pause that I never used, but I'm just trying to show you how I took stuff and made it into something later because I feel like I'm not writing rhymes to be wasted. And Lord Finesse even said rhymes that became verses for songs too. So people that only rhyme off the head and that ain't freestyle. But to me, the old school freestyle to me meant busting a rhyme. It could have been a rhyme that you said you wrote. So when say like let's use Mr. Magic's example. When Mr. Magic was on the air with Marley Marl, and he might be like, y'all got Big Daddy Kane down here, got MC Shannon, I got people down here. When we come back, we're gonna have a freestyle. That meant they're just gonna be live spitting rhymes. It could have been something they wrote that they said on the song, and then another rhyme could have been an unwritten, spontaneous verse. Now, unwritten, spontaneous verse to me is freestyle. Nowadays, that's what people define as freestyle. That means rhyming off the head, rhyming off something that's unwritten. You're just spontaneously saying some rhyme. I don't rhyme that way. That's not my strength. My strength is writing and then reciting what I wrote. So if you tell me, yo, Percee P, yo, I want to have you at the Super Bowl and at halftime we're gonna have you come out. I'm not gonna get up there spitting some spontaneous unwritten verse. I'm going with something I think that I've said with people that this right here always get cast. If you got one rhyme, you know like this is the one right here. So that's how I'm gonna do it. Some people look at that as now this artist that's very gifted, supernatural can do that. Juice. There's artists that can go up the head that's talented. That's not my strength. But just because I don't rhyme off the head, to me I just battle like rap battle. See, like this is a good example. If two MCs battle, one dude spitting rhymes that he wrote, then the other dude's going up the head, it shouldn't be about, oh, nah, this dude's spitting freestyle, so he wins. Nah. It's supposed to be about who's saying the best stuff. If you choose to go up the head saying shit, and the dude who wrote shit just saying better shit, the dude who wrote it should be winning the battle. It shouldn't be, no, he said written rhymes, and so you just win. Nah. Only way it should be that way if you made the rules, no written rhymes. You got to go off the head. Let me see. But it shouldn't be somebody disqualified just because he's saying rhymes that's written. Because if that's the case, like Kim was saying, rhymes written, right? All that, them rhymes written. Kane wrote his rhymes when he did his album and Bismarcky rhymes, and so most rappers wrote their stuff when they recorded in studios.
Right. So but it was defined. Like again, you're talking to two brothers who we are of this. Like, and what you're talking directly to is again, as defined, freestyle was just free of style. It could have been whatever that just wasn't attached to a song that was released on a beat. Something that you could kind of just go with anything. And then the other part was Off the Top of the Dome, which was coming up spontaneous. But there's a place for everything, and it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine.
New music seminars. Sometimes they might say, yo, you have to do this, or it had to be a rhyme that you didn't write. We're gonna see who could say the best rhyme, unwritten verse, spontaneous freestyle, whatever. Can't be something you wrote. Then that's understandable. If you try to come in there with something you wrote down, you tell you wrote that, so it's disqualified. So, that's understandable. But nobody should judge anybody. It's supposed to be about who's saying better in hip hop. It's supposed to be who the best should win. It shouldn't be about who didn't do this to do that. As long as we play two B-boys, one dude could be coming out busting moves that he practiced, but the other dude could be just coming off the head, like I'm just making stuff as I go along. But if that dude did moves that he practiced better than the dude who just freestyling, that dude should win. It shouldn't be about, oh, nah, this dude right here just doing anything. And it's still, nah. I don't judge it that way. I feel these people judge you. If you sound too good, people rather, I can tell you about that. What are you talking about? Like, come on. So that's how the game changed. People wasn't thinking like that back in the 80s and 90s. If your rhymes was dope, you was dope. People, if you sound too good now, almost like, man, you tell you wrote that. That ain't no freestyle. So it's like, it's crazy, It's almost
that changed in the 90s, though, in my opinion. Like that kind of that thought process of the freestyle versus the Off the Top of the Dome, like that kind of changed in the 90s when that 90s class and crop of MCs came out and was trying to do something different and coming off the top. And obviously, if it's something brand new, again, free of style, that's where the name kind of stuck to. Off the top rhymes was just freestyle. Like, so I mean, to me, it can go either way. Personally, to me, it can go either way. That frame. It's just, how the person perceives it. Like, it's a kind of a to each his own type of thing.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah,
right.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I cut you off. Yeah.
No. I was gonna say was as you were talking and you led us into, and Ian, I know you got a bunch of questions on it. The Perseverance album, and like I mentioned, that track, Two Brothers from the Gutter, you Diamond D, over the Contra sample. I mean, everybody sampled something from video games, but just hearing Contra, that dun 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 dun, and then beating that game so many times in life, like what was it like doing that track with Diamond D? And then secondly, I have to ask, because you were mentioning your history with all the people from DITC. How did you not end up a member of DITC?
Yeah, people always said that. Yeah, at the end of the Lord Finesse, yes, you may. You hear him say, yeah, Percee is a new member, right? You listen to it? You say, yeah, Percee is a new member, thinking the crazy, But I never really was officially asked. But it made sense. I am from the Bronx. I know y'all. I didn't know like Fat Joe like that because I wasn't, but they all knew me. Man, if I was on Finesse album, they knew of me. And Showbiz knew me personally. Showbiz did Yes You May. He did the song Yes You May, and Peter Wayne did the Kick and Flavor with my man. But yeah, I mean that made sense. I'm a Bronx cat, just like y'all. I'm from the same area. You know me. You know I can spit bars. It's not that I was trying to get on, but I was already on. When Finesse asked me to be on his album, I was already on Big Beat Records. I was signing Big Beat. I was waiting for my single to come out. Yes, yo, P, Finesse, AG told me, yo, P, Finesse is doing another album. He wants you on the song. So we did Yes You May first. We went to Jazzy J's studio. Shout out to Jazzy J. We had a studio uptown on Allenton Avenue in the Bronx before it got burned down. So we recorded Yes You May, me, AG, and Finesse. And then he said, I want to do another song with you, P. And we did Kick and Flavor with my man. So that's when we did that. Those two songs. But the guy who was recording my song, producing my song Long Collapse and Lyrics. I don't know if you heard that song, but my man Todd Ray. I told Finesse to reach out to him. Todd Ray did Long Collapse Lyrics and my song Putting His to Bed. So he did those two songs. But Todd Ray is the same producer that did Back to the Grill for MC Serge. Yes, You May remix for Lord Finesse with Big L featuring, because I'd have Finesse reach out to him because this is the time Finesse wasn't producing it. So he was like, yo, I'm trying to put out another 12-inch. The label when we drop another single, I'm trying to get my song out, Party Over Here remix, and another single. And I regret not being on that Yes You May remix. Like something happened where I couldn't go to the studio that day, but I regret that because I could have been on that song. You know what I'm saying? And then I was surprised that AG didn't get on it. So Big L was just Lord Finesse and Big L. But I was like, damn, that right there, you know, that would have been a good song to be on because I remember when that dropped, that song was getting a lot of rotation. The beat, people don't know the beat. You know what I'm saying? A lot. So, but my name was mentioned at the beginning of the intro of the song. Percee and AG ain't here right now, but I got my man Big L in the house. You know, but Big L, me and Big L. I don't know if you ever saw the post I put on my page where I have different artists acknowledgments, like DMX and all that. You saw that post? So you get like that's like, yeah, I played the song, his song from Trespass movie soundtrack. The song, You Know What I'm About. We're knocking niggas off, knocking niggas out. But most people didn't know that Big L singing the chorus. But who better yet to tell people that than Lord Finesse? So that's why I used him saying it. Then when you hear him saying it, yeah, that's Percee and Big L singing the chorus to that. So I just thought to be more alive, let me make a post where it's kind of telling the history, some of my back stories of how I was a part of a lot of different scenes. And I was there before a lot of people. I was the second show ever that they had on the air, Stretch and Barbito show. And we know that show started in 1990. The second show was the first time I was supposed to have been there. I didn't show up. So the third show that they had on the air was the first time I was down there. I was rhyming with Large Professor, who you see in that movie. Their movie called Radio That Changed Lives. When you watch the film, you see the clip of Large Professor. Then it's me. We're rhyming together. They just split our apart. And it's crazy how when you see him rhyming, he's rapping, he's reading, he's writing the rhymes in the radio station and reading on air for the first time the rhyme that he said on Live at the Barbecue, the song that he put Nas and Akinelli on. And then my rhyme, remember, this is 1990. The show is November 29th, 1990, because in the movie it put the date. But the rhyme that I said became the rhyme to Yes You May, which came out in 92, and the quotable in the Source magazine. So it's like we both spit bars that became actual records. You know what I'm saying? Down the line. And they were the first.
I'm sorry. I didn't apologies for jumping in like that. But now again, the track I asked about, Two Brothers from the Gutter. When you heard that beat, like what was going through your mind when you heard that beat?
I was very happy because I think when a lot of people heard my album, that was one of the key tracks. I was on tour with MOP one time with a group called Connie Price and the Keystones, a live band. My mama was in Houston, and because we had a tour bus, my album was out, and I gave them a copy, and they kept playing that song. You know how people listening to your music in the tour bus, and they keep stopping it, playing it over. You want to play, let it keep playing. Oh, my just back, that's just crazy. They kept doing it, but I was happy. I like MOP, they was tripping, but y'all, did you hear me say, hold on, play that shit back over? I'm like that. But a lot of times when people played that album, they was like, yo, that Two Brothers from the Gutter beat. So to me, I feel good. I felt Madlib gave me some good stuff. And to be honest, I wasn't in the studio recording with him. I didn't record not one song with him in the studio with me. And I found out that MF Doom did the same thing. I read one of his interviews, and then he said the same shit. Yo, I was giving tapes. Egon used to give me. He said, I wish I had all the CDs that he gave me when I was doing my album. He used to give me a CD and it said 1 to 50, then another one, 50 to 100, then another one, 150 to 200, another one, 200 to 250. I had like 5 of those, it was snippets. It was snippets that when I went in the studio, all he do was loop it. He looped whatever part I rapped over it. He made my vocals. Then he took my acapellas, and then he made what you hear. He put it on the beat, and then he could put the cuts.
Unbelievable.
I remember when I heard my shit, I was like, I hope he get my shit Get the time. You know how I yo, I hope he'll get my show beat. He got my, he got the time. I was so happy. I heard because I'm listening. I ain't even listening to rhyme. I'm listening to timing. Is he getting my shit?
That's amazing.
And he got me on time. He got everything good. I was like, that's all I was waiting for. I don't want to hear no mess up. And you talking about this is the song. I'm like, yo, but he got my shit off. He lined me up wrong on the beat. He got my timing good. And I was so like, that was good. But I don't know. I mean, I felt happy. Emma Doom said the same thing. Yeah, I just got beats and I'll go in the studio. Then I heard Madlib interviews. He would say stuff like, well, I don't really like to go in the studio with cats because like I don't drink or smoke. I never did. So when I go in the studio, I just get straight to business. I go in the studio, I go by myself. I don't be bringing an entourage. I don't be bringing people. I just go and knock it out. But you have people that will show up to studios, bringing a bunch of people drinking. And so sometimes that extend the time before you start working. Some cats like that. Man, they're probably like, yo, why I got to be around? If it's a 5 or 6 hour session, why am I here? Why dudes just drink? I could have been home making more beats, but I'm just sitting around dudes bullshitting around before they start recording. So I understood that. I said, yeah, that's true. Some people do that. But I'm used to like the old days, T-Ray, anybody I work with was at the studio to give some kind of input. Yo, P9, that was dope, but I think you could say that again. Say that ball over again. Say it on. I think you can put more into it. So sometimes you need that too. I can do it myself, but when you have the people around, that motivation, that was dope, you killed it, but do one more time on another track. That's just, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes that brings out more in you, you know. So that's the honest truth. I didn't record, and while I was recording my song, just to say, while I was recording Perseverance, Egon came to me like, yo, do you have another verse? You want to be on a J-Lib? Because remember, J-Lib was got when it was supposed to come out, it got booted. I don't know if you remember, the songs got leaked. So they
I got that.
So they had to make new songs. That's how I want to on it. It's like, yo, we have to try to make some more songs. If you got a verse for something, I want to on it. So that was kind of a blessing for me because it could have just been out without me. But they said you got song, I had song. While I was recording my songs, I just dropped that real quick. And when it came out, But I was like, good. I got placement, G Dilla, and I'm a part of his legacy. There's one track. I mean, to say, but I did do shows with them. Both of them. I did shows with Jurassic 5. I mean, J Dilla and Madlib when he's still alive. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. That's fucking. That's crazy because shit. Ian, he blew my mind with the Madlib thing, which again correlated with Doom. We've heard these stories for years that they didn't be like they might have been in the same house, but they was never in the same room putting that album together. And yo, do you understand the gold that you had in your hand that you don't probably have right now?
Remember this though. Remember, if you look, I met Luke Pack in 1999. It's a post on my page. I don't know if you look back. I gave a dedication, a tribute to Biz Markie. It's a video I put up where they show a lot of different rappers that took a picture with the Biz Markie dog. But that was 1999. That's the day I met Luke Pack, man. Little Wild Child, DJ Rome's. I met her all on that day. That was in a club in New York. So I was just walking around selling my tapes like I normally would do. I came up to them. Oh, wow, you got Cold Crush tapes and, you know, the Big Bronx River Connection, like all that shit. Wow, we want this. How much? So I told them, all right, we're going to get something. Then they was like, yo, we got this show right here. Here's the flyer. Oh, I know where this is at. This is me. Yeah, I'm going to come through. I'm an artist too. I don't know if you heard of Percee B from Long Island America. That's how I met them. This is 1999. So you see how long it took. Down the line, I was still doing stuff like Met Jurassic 5 and Wind Up on H and Jedi Mind Tricks. So I was still like just trying to keep my name out there, doing what I did. But it was a long process. But I watched them. But at the time, you figure when I met in 1999, Madlib wasn't who he is now. He wasn't at the status that he is now. So I grew with them. Remember, Luke Pack didn't have that one album, and Quasimodo came out. It wasn't like, man, it wasn't like the catalog he got now. So, but that was me. I was sticking with the people that believed in who I was. And the reason I went with them, because I was in New York, but the West Coast lady was like, oh, and this Stone stuff, yo, they had the interest in me that maybe people might have took for granted. that told me in front of Fat Beats every day. They never said, yo, please, we can put some shit out with you. Fat Beats had a label, right? They had a little something they could have put out, but nobody ever said, yo, what you working? Yo, we dropped 12 inch. I'm not saying they had to, but that just show you how sometimes the people from somewhere else saw more and appreciated more. So when Madlib met me, from when he met me, it was like, yo, that same footage is in a documentary. They have a documentary called Lou Documentary. It's called a documentary. And in that, when they start off, they showing me, when he met me from that day, they tell me to come outside. Yo, let's go outside and get you on video. And I'll spit some bars for them. And then they do that footage in their documentary. Do it in their documentary. So they gave me some visuals. Because I didn't have no documentary. This is before YouTube, all that. Like, so it was more like they gave me visual. Do the documentary was circulated, distributed. So people were saying who Percee was. So it was me like sticking with the dudes that was appreciating and showing me love and support. And every time they came to New York, yo, we're doing a show over here, we want to perform too, Same thing with Jurassic 5. I met them before the album dropped. Like every time they came to New York, we want to bring you out on stage, man, come up spit. So it made sense. Yo, I'm gonna go out there and go out to Cali. So like there's something out there that maybe I wasn't really getting. Sometimes when you come somewhere, sometimes the people could take it for granted. Like if I'm standing in front of Fat Beats for years, and you see me, I'm the same Percee P that you hear, but I always had it, but I wasn't given the opportunity to shine. So if I go, like I said, to Rock the Bell, if I go to Rock State University, and I know the crazy legs don't know, but if I go there, I'm Percee P. I mean, even if I could get up on a mic to spit a verse, just let me spit a cappella. But if I can get that kind of exposure, it'll let everybody know I'm still in the game. He still got bars. Let's try to play with him. But if I'm never given those opportunities, but then I go out to Cali, and yo, you out in Cali now? Yo, you want to perform for Rock the Bell? You want to perform? Like, what? I ain't trying to, at a big ass giant festival for the cats like me, the underground dudes that, yeah, hell yeah. And I've done it. That's enough to be like, yo, I'm still here. And then I felt like I was the winning team. I came to LA where Stone Throw was like the label. Stone. So it's like I came where it was like, yo, it made sense for me. I'm gonna go out there. It extended a lot of things. I could have stayed in New York, but I was from there all my life. But I ain't never forget where I'm from. You know that. Even though I'm Stone Throw, everybody knows when you see my stuff. The BX, the New York, like people know. I ain't want to act like I'm a West Coast dude, but they knew. I'm an East Coast dude on the West Coast, so that's why I said Bronx Angeles. Try to rep both because y'all embraced me and they showed me a lot of love. Shout out to my man like Mark Love, GJ Mark Love, and a lot of people embraced me. And I give Kelly a lot of love, and I respect him a lot because I saw them doing a lot of things out there that I wish they made a lot of scenes, like Rock the Bells Festival, Paid Dues Festival, even in the Bay Area with the Hyro Fest, and then you got the X Fest, Extra Fest out there in Modesto, California. That's like another big festival. And it's so much shit at Sunset Junction, the Eagle Rock Festival. It's like a lot of shit happening in Cali, the West, all over Cali, LA, just different places. But people that eat the low end theory for producers just playing these beats and big ass lines going around the corner. So I saw like, yo, they protect and they support their shit. Somebody at the stool say, yo, we're gonna throw a house party. We're gonna do these house parties in this little warehouse. This shit be lined up around the corner every week because people just go to that and support that. That's hip hop. Because that's how hip hop started. Jams in the park, everybody just come. So you ain't gotta be famous, yo, we're just doing this and everybody just start showing up to the shit every week and it spread word of mouth. So that's y'all, I need like that. I need that kind of energy. But yo, you open minded to support shit. Well, I got some CDs, maybe I want to support it. So it was like a fresh start for me too, just to go out there. You know what I'm saying? And I come back to New York and I always represent. When I came back, it'll be like I'm trying to do like, I have family, all my family's still in New York, Boston. So I'll come and stay. But it's like going back and forth. I became a bi-coastal artist by just being on Stone Throw. It benefited me. I'm a New York dude, but on the West Coast label, it guaranteed me exposure on another coast that I wasn't living and embraced. You know what I'm saying? So, and it introduced me to like Jay Dilla, and I met Jay Dilla in New York too because when Stone Throw, they had a Mad Villain tour in of Doom, and also it was J-Lib on that tour. So when it got to this was when I still was living in New York. I moved to Cali out in like 2003. But when they got to New York, they had to perform at BB King's on Times Square. And that's why I went, because they called me, the P was coming to New York, we want you to come to the show, you could perform. So I got up there, and that's how I met Jay Dilla. He was backstage, I went back there, oh, he's like, yo, man, we good, because, we was on the same album, but we was meeting for the first time. Gave each other a hug, yo, it's good to meet you, and found out he living in L.A. He was out there, Common, I guess he was staying with Common, but then I moved out there. I didn't know, I was out there, and it's just like, so that's how God works, sometimes you just bring certain places in, but and you gotta think about it, I came out there at the right time. Dilla's not with us, but when I came, I was around at the time to see the growth of like the Loop Pack, all that, the J-Lib, the Mad Villain, all that stuff. Nowadays, Stone still got way more artists of catalog, but I was at those early stages that people still like Stone Stove, J-Lib. I was there for that. It wasn't like I'm just getting signed, coming to them now, like trying to be on Motown, but you living off the past, but you wasn't there. I was somebody who was there when the shit was happening, when people was doing the shows. I was still on, you know what I'm saying?
And so you was there for the birth. You was there for the birth of that, the birth of hip hop. Like, it's crazy.
I just appreciate
right place.
I was a part of the time at the moment. Yeah. At least nobody can take that away from me, and I feel that. Like, So
you reminded me. I got to give a shout out to my boy Lou. He calls himself Lou from the BX Online, but he's lived in Florida for over 20, 25 years or so. But it's the same thing. You can never take home out of you. And Ian, I mean, you can take it away after this, but like how I always talk about with us in the company, it's like, especially with Staten Island, because we both from Staten Island. We grew up together. Like we from diapers.
Hold on, I give big man props to Staten Island too, because Foursome D's, but before there's Foursome D's, Foursome C's.
The Foursome C's, yep.
Crews. So I always mad love. So I just want to give y'all a big shout out. And Foursome D's was one of my favorite singing groups.
Word up. But I always talk about how it's like, one, I'm always like, yo, we got to do stuff outside of New York. But then two, especially doing stuff outside of Staten Island, because it's crazy how much love you get elsewhere. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? It's how much love you get from away from home, Like it's crazy. Like Ian, you remember what Fonte said on the album? He said, he said something like,
you don't get love to your hometown.
You don't get love to your hometown until you made it, and it's like, then 2 years later, it's like, oh, we always loved y'all, and he's like, you fucker, it's weird like that. It's weird like that.
Because even when I stood by Fat Beats, it wasn't the love that people thought that it was. It was like, I got more no's than yeses, but I did sell a lot of my CDs and stuff. But more people walked by than supported. So it's like when I got a Stone Stove and I bounced, then it was like, yo, remember Percee Preacher staying here? Wow, yeah, I should be out here all the time. I should see him all the time. But if you buying records and you just never even said, let me hear your shit on headphones. Yeah. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have that at the time. So it was like, I have to let you be able to hear my shit real quick. Nah, I'm good. I'm just getting my shit. I got stuff up to the factories. I got songs. I'm on this shit. But do you want to hear? Nah, I'm good. See, so you get that a lot. And nowadays, when you fast forward, a lot of artists they have to do independent shit. Because the time we're in, the climate is COVID, right? So a lot of dudes is doing exactly what I was doing by choice. They're forced to do it now. So it's nothing to sell CDs. Come on, I sell merch, T-shirts, all that, whatever I got to do. But it's my way to preserve my name like I did throughout the years. I somehow figured out a way to preserve my name through decades. They're from the 80s, 79, it's like 2001. I'm still here somehow. I look at it as God, higher power just blessing me to still be here. You know what I'm saying?
Now I feel bad, Ian, and you got it right here. But I feel bad because I definitely probably might have walked past your table going record shopping at Fat Beats back in the day. I don't recall it, but I probably have walked past, not even on some unconscious going upstairs. And you do know where I work, the area that covers that my job covers exactly where Fat Beats is, and it fucking disappoints me every single day I drive by.
Yeah. I came by there and I saw Dunkin' Donuts, and when I stood there now, because it's gone. Those that was around, it's almost like, yeah, I was here when this was happening. This happened. No, yeah, I feel like that. I made a video called Making Music, maybe called Making Music, but in that video, I traveled to a lot of historic landmarks for me. The spot about Lord Finesse, I stood in front of factories in the scene. But those that know, that's right. He used to be right there. He right over there with Washington Square, come out of the train station. That right there, that little dome over there by where the diamond is at by the train station, the Astor Place. I just hit little spots where, if you know where he's at, like wow, he's hitting spots only if you know his career, and know him as an artist. You know he brought it back, but it's just in the present time, it ain't the same. From the fact, it's like a doctor's office or something now, probably.
Right.
And the donuts was where bagel buffet used to be. I had to eat right there, break bread with them. I didn't stand in front of Fabry's door. I stood by the Bagel Cafe door. So when you go on Fabry's, you to my right. I'm like, yo, my man, check it out. All right, I see you when I come out. Or, all right, let me see what you got real quick. And then block it, like, you know what I'm saying? But it's just, I stood close enough to make sure I can get your attention to come. So you don't just duck in. I can say something to you real quick. Or I'll catch you when you come out, man. Check it out. Just do it. I'm Percee. I had to bring like stuff like Source Magazine out to Portable in May 92 issue. So I had to bring that. It's different now. But back then, if we was in the era we is now, with the videos, like I say, you pull out your phone, check out YouTube, check out my playlist. You could see the albums I'm on. You could see the covers. Oh, you want this? Yeah, I'm on this. I'm on this song. Oh, shit.
You didn't have that back then.
I couldn't do it then. I had to say, yo, I'm in this magazine. I'm in Herb Magazine. I got the next 100 artists. I'm in the next 100. I'm on Stone Store. Where are you, Stone Store? Yeah, look, this song on. Drive Survive by 1 Powers and Numbers. You don't know the song. I had to let you hear it. But nowadays, with phones, you could just Google up everything I'm talking about. So it's much more easier now. But it also took some of the fun out for a DJ like yourself. Because you from the times when I'm not a DJ, but this is what I tell DJs. I know it's kind of disappointing when you run across cats that might be like, they got a bunch of songs, but they ain't never spent a dime the way you did. You had to buy, every record has a story to a DJ. I'm talking about the DJs that have crates. So every record in a crate has a story. Like, I had to get this from Beat Street. I had to get this from Downstairs Records. I had to get this from Rock and Soul. I had to get this one out in Jersey somewhere, but I caught the other copy. They didn't have it. I bought 2 years later. I got another copy finally. So every record is that to a producer, to a DJ. But then you got dudes. I got a DJ. Where your crate? I got all my shit on my laptop. But they ain't never went to no stores. They don't know the journey of what you might have to take to get everything you got, money, your paychecks that you spent, all your shit, thinking about hours you're trying to get out of that, and still trying to get.
That's just the evolution of time, though. That's just the evolution of time. Like we were eventually getting to this point. But like you said, though, as soon as you said what you just said, I immediately thought about, because I was telling this to people just recently. The first record I ever bought was at Virgin Records in Times Square. It was Mad Lion Double Trouble. It's shit like that you're talking about. That's part of that essence that's kind of missing, because there's so many things, that historical moments that we could attach to dates and stuff. Like you just mentioned, that Circle Square that runs in Cooper Square. If you know rap, you know hip hop, you know a Tribe Called Quest filmed the video around there.
And then on little hole in the wall stores, not to say hole in the wall, but the real DJs still know the A1, the Turntable Labs, Sound Libraries, like you
Music
looking
Factory.
Not overlooking nothing. The sound, they're going to thrift stores, see a crate on the floor. You're not walking by that. You're like, hold on, try real quick. Hold on, let me go through that real quick. Like 99-cent stores was selling albums, official albums, right? You start going dollar stores, look, oh shit, they got the whole album. I'm just getting it. It's sad to see somebody album in a dollar store, but if you're a real enthusiast, you just getting it. I'm getting the shit right here. The whole album, trying to sell it.
And you know
how crazy I am with it. You know how crazy I am, because Ian has seen it before. He's seen the crates in my trunk. I work for sanitation in the city. If I seen a crate of records being thrown out, I didn't even dig through it. I just took the whole crate.
Yeah. Yo, listen. If you're a producer, I don't care if it ain't no soul records. Anything can be used. So
exactly.
You're taking everything.
Yep.
You ain't gonna leaving stuff behind. Nah, you're gonna find something. As long as the record is audible, you can play it with a needle and ain't skipping and got nothing on it. You can't let the needle, then you can use it. But yeah, man, I know that feeling. I feel like a real DJ ain't overlooking nothing. And I feel like if you're a real DJ, when the dude on the street trying to push his tapes like me, I think you should listen before you say, "Nah, I'm good." Because a real DJ want to expose new shit to the next person. Why overlook anything? It might be in the form of a cassette tape or a CD, but if this is new music and it's banging, I'll use an example.
You're gonna pick it up.
People say they like, I love 50 Cent first album. All right, what if 50 Cent never was signed to with Dr. Dre enough, but made the same records, but he was a dude on the street. Yo, check out my CD, and you heard the same songs. Would you still play it in the club on a party somewhere? If you could play it, would you play it, or you just like, I'm just playing stuff on the radio? I feel like a real DJ wants to give life to shit. So when it blow up, you feel the real pride. Like, yeah, you heard that shit from me. I played that shit first. Don't wait for the cast to blow up and then, yeah, we just see him all the time. And now he's big. And then you trying to follow him down online. Nah, you gotta trust me. I remember faces, so I know the dudes that walk past. Like,
there's a reason he's pointing right now, and that's what I do. That's what we do. That's what we do with our website.
Percee, as we say all the time, this man can find it.
I'm speaking for myself, but for countless artists out there, like myself as an artist, an MC.
Yeah, give him a chance.
Give me a chance because you never know. You never know who I might be. Look, I was still making records when I was standing my pappies. They said real recognize real. Jurassic 5, when they met me, I went to Urban Plaza selling my tape. Cut chemist, oh shit, he bought it. See, it wasn't about. It was just, I know who you is. I'm getting this tape because you made this. It's something exclusively from you. I just want to say, but yo, what you doing now? You still rap? Yeah. Yo, we're doing an album right now. Put you on Big Daddy Kane on a song. They did it. But now, in reality, he could say, yo, I bought his shit off of him. That's how we came together. I met him and I said, yo, hold on. Bought the crew over. Guess who this is? That's how I met him. But every DJ has those opportunities. But will you seize the moment to say, yeah, I put this dude on his first time exposure. Look, you could Google DMX right now. Did you ever seen the footage of me and DMX on my Instagram? You see him
sitting on the couch?
Yeah, that's him in Def Jam. Check it out. He was being interviewed for that album when he was dropping. But see, I was a part of a public access TV show. That's why I was there. So my man, rest in peace to my man, G-Rod X, whose show it was called Ghetto Videos, Ghetto TV. But he asked me to go. He used to get like a lot of press release dates from different artists because he had a public access show. So he used to play R&B, hip hop. But he would pick and choose. Yo, Pete, you want to go to this interview? You want to go to that? So I pick and choose all I want. DMX I knew from the Bronx, from the Castle. I used to do shows. But before he made records, like when I had one record out, we used to open up shows at the Castle. So when he saw me, I was somebody that he knew. Like, yo, you remember me? Yo, we was rocking at the Castle. Yo, hell yeah. He said at his own mouth. That was the first time I had my name on a flyer. Think about that. This DMX. So that automatically people overlook me. But what that say about me? And this is like 80. This is like we talking about 89, 88. He said it's my first time I had my name on the flyer like that, right? But he became a legendary artist. That's him coming out his first album on Def Jam. But he was on Columbia before that. But remember, 1990. If you look on my playlist, me and DMX is on rhyming together in 1991 on Stretch Armstrong's show. Rhyming together, but I was there in 1990. So I came to his first, I seen it in press. I saw DMX discography at one point where it said, when they asked his appearances, it started off with his first major appearance was on Stretch Armstrong's show, rhyming with Percee P. I saw that. That was like acknowledgement. There's like a DMX fan page on IG, just like a Big L, and so sometimes I go on there, even though it's not them, but I show my love and appreciation because I knew DMX. It's like when he saw me, I represented like a dude that was doing it for so long, just like him. And his charm finally came. And he made up for all that time that whatever hardship he went through, He did when he was alive and breathing. DMX was living his best life. I'm talking about as an artist. What artists aspire and hope to. He was bigger than life when he was still alive, right? So he got a chance to get a chance to live that superstar lifestyle of an artist that most artists try to hope, aspire to do. Not to say superstar status, but acceptance, worldwide appreciation. He got the love, and we all saw it when he was alive. People appreciated and loved him. So he's not here, but he did accomplish what he wanted to achieve. You could say that, you know what I'm saying? Now my man Big L didn't get to where he needed to go. You know what I'm saying? He got cut short. But he's still in depth, he's still admired and acknowledged for his greatness. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy, man. But yeah, I put on my IG, I put a lot of things on there that kind of teaches people about me. Some stories, sometimes people do. It's things I never did. Like I never recorded a song with this person, but I knew the person. They knew me. But through IG and social media, I can put out things and change the narrative or write my story. And maybe somebody who's really interested in my story, they at least see what I'm posting. Those are the facts. I'm posting receipts and shit. So you look at what I post and then you'll have more stuff to write about or even the interview. If you look at what I post, those are things that you go ask me about, the backstory. Tell me about this. Tell me how I was supposed to be on the Back to the Grill song with MC Search. I recorded the song, me, Nas, Akinelli, all of us. It's on that post. When you look at the post on my IG, you see DMX, but it's a slash with 10 different artists talking about me. And MC Search is on there talking about, yeah, I was in the studio and Daddy Reef from the Source magazine at the time, Daddy Reef and Stretch Armstrong came to Big Beat. And he brought me, Akinelli, and Nas to Chung King Studio. That's where he was at. To be, this is how it went. I'm gonna tell you a real quick story behind the scene. One of my cousins from Queens, my cousin Taiwan. His name was Brother Exact. At the time he rapped too, but he ain't really rap now. And he's a producer. But his name was Brother Exact at the time. So he went to school with like Lost Professor and Akinelli. He knew them in high school days. You know what I'm saying? So he knew them. So he was like, yo, when I was on Stretch and Barbito show, people that used to listen to the show, like Akinelli, he's like, yeah, that's Percee, that's my cousin. He told me that they didn't believe him. They didn't believe you my cousin because you're from the Bronx. And, you know, dang, your cousin. So one day I was on Stretch and Barbito. Akinelli calls off the air. Barbito's like, yo, Percee, you got a phone call. So I go to the phone, like, who it is? He's like, yo, man, it's Percee P. I said, yeah, what's up? Yeah, it's Akinelli. Oh, what's up, man? How you? Yo, what's up? Yo, you got a cousin? Yeah, my cousin Taiwan. That's my cousin, Benny. Y'all play bullshit. Nah. He said, yo, I want to meet you, man. I said, why don't you come to Big Beat? I want you to hear my new 12-inch. It's a maxi single. It's on that. I'm going to let y'all hear it. So he came. I just said, come. When he came, he had Nas with him. So that he came. So when we was down, I'm playing my songs, long collapse lyrics, putting heads back down, and see me, then we spitting balls, and here's something. You know, MCs, I got to check this. So while we was down there, T-Ray calls, the producer, putting his bed down and see me, long collapse lyrics. Yo, P, y'all still that chunk? You still that Big Beat? Yeah, yo, Search, I'm in the studio still with Search. He needs some people for the hook. Why don't y'all come to Chung King? So we all went to Chung King. Stretch Armstrong, me, Nas, Akinelli, my man the Riddler, we all was there. So we went over to Chung King. While we was there, he said, yo, I need y'all to do a hook for this song. I need y'all to do a hook for this song called Here It Comes. I don't know if you heard his song, Here It Comes, Here It Comes, Here It Comes, Here It Comes, the remix version. That's me, Nas, Akinelli, all of us doing the chorus to that song. We don't need no water, let it burn, yo, burn, yo. We don't need no water, let it burn. Then he searched, but that's all of us doing the hook. So after doing that hook, then he said, Search, MC Search. Yeah, man, yo, why don't y'all drop a verse on this beat right here? Since y'all got, and it was Back to the Grill beat. So we all right, I dropped something on that. Search, I spit, Akinelli, I spit. But when it came out, I wasn't on it. Akinelli wasn't on it. But Nas was on it. But I think Nas was managed by Search. But you and I know, if you know me, I ain't have to let you hear what I said. But I think if you know me, you know I ain't spit no whack shit on that. So I think it's more politics than me spitting some whack. That's what I
feel you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but Sir said it. He did acknowledge in the video. Yeah, Percy, he dropped the birds like that. But now he rhymes. He rhymed. But he said it like he didn't. But he did rhyme. We all said it rhyme in the studio. We all went down there together. We all dropped the rhyme. We was like, yeah, well, shit, I'll do so. Yeah.
Damn. That see, you said we had material that we could have went right off your Instagram for. It clearly wasn't necessary tonight. It felt like you had a lot to get off your chest, which is fucking. I
Man.
thank you for this shit, man. I thank you. I do. I'm not saying it like we're closing out because I have to go. So Ian, close me out. But before I run and Ian finishes up with you, I have to once again saying thank you for this. Thank you for everything you've done within music. And I only have one ask that before this video closes out with y'all. If you could just leave HHDG Media, the podcast, to drop, that's all I ask for.
Most definitely. I'll do
Ian,
that.
X me out and y'all finish up, man. I'm going home on a high right now because you left so much shit right here, man. Thank you.
But,
man, and I'm sure you got more stories too, right?
I got stories. I just asked to share that playlist, that Percee P songs and features on YouTube. Just share.
We got you. And I definitely got you.
Yeah, just do that and just let people know, man. I mean, some people, I'm an artist from the past. I'm still part of the present. I'm still here. But it's just my way to control my legacy and let it live and put it out there so people don't reduce me to just stand on the street selling tapes and CDs and stuff. I'm more than that, professional artist. But I just kind of want the music to get heard and people see me in a bigger light. And that's what I try to do. Show clips of me performing live overseas and with artists, people like Mad Lib and all of them. It's on it. When you look at it, you scroll through, you see it. I put it on there. But only way it's going to be heard and seen is if I use the people that care to share that. Just to this, just listen to it. And, the records, they don't have to act with it. It's already showing images of everything that's played, records and everything, covers of albums. So, yeah, man, I appreciate your time, brother. Thank you so much.
Ian, wrap this. Yeah, whenever you're done, Ian, man, just let me know when this is finished. This podcast, sir. When it's podcast form, I'm not even waiting until next week. Like, this is going to drop tomorrow or Friday. Like, this shit needs to be heard. But, Ian, I know you got a bunch more if he got the time for you.
I'm out. He got the time. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'm out, y'all.
All right, man.
Peace, brother.
Yeah, definitely, man. And back to Fat Piece, I've had plenty of times going in there buying records, and if I always seen you outside, I always gave my respect. There's times I actually purchased, some of your music as well. But that grind, like you were saying, there's only certain people I've seen consistently like that. And one of the artists that came to mind that I seen often when I went record shopping between Fat Beats, A1, Music Factory, Beat Street was an artist named Creature.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, I used to see him.
He wrote about me in his book. He made a book. Shout out to Creature. He wrote a book, and he had dedicated a whole chapter in there to me. In his book, he was like, he's out in the crown prince, but Percee is the certified king. You inspired me to sell his stuff. Like the way he was doing it, like he acknowledged it. I started that. He just took over. I bounced, but he was doing it, and he got very well knowledgeable about doing that, selling CDs and stuff. So yeah, shout out to Creature, man, my brother.
Definitely. Yeah. Now I just want to go back a little bit because your time coming up in the Bronx, a very important person that took you under his wing. That's KG, the Cold Crush Brothers.
Oh, yeah, the almighty. Yeah, I met KG at B-Boy Records, same label, Scott Rock. The Crash One was the album came out. It was on that record label, B-Boy Records, Rock Candy. So I used to go down there to the label with a guy named G Smooth, one of my homeboys from the projects. Shout out to G Smooth, from the projects. But we used to go down there. When the record South Bronx dropped, we heard that the label was over there. We found out the label was in the Bronx, and it was in the near Millbrook Projects in the sanitation department area in the back streets. But we found out that's where the label was. So we went over there and we should try to get up in there and could walk in and everything. So went up in there, met Scholar Rock. He got a relationship with him. He knew us. KG was there from the Cold Quest. There's another KG that was a heavier set KG, so we said Fat KG. Then KG the All, because on the record there was another KG. Then the KG from the Cold Quest is on the record. His title KG the All. KG even put out a record on B-Boy Records. It was like 4 songs. So KG, when he heard me, he was like, yo, man, yo, you dope. Yo, man, why don't you come to my house? I'm Jackson Projects. So Jackson Projects, this is from Patterson Projects where I'm from. So I go down there like 156th Street, walk down there, and he invited us to his house with his mom's and the big dog named Samson, white pit bull. But yeah, man, it was like one of my heroes. Taking me under his wing, man. Just KG from the Cold Crush, man. I just listened to them like, wow. He was like a brother, the big brother. His mom's knew us before she passed away. And she used to feed us, like come to us, yeah, yo, want something to eat? We sitting there eating at KG house. He would take us to clubs. Me and my partner, I introduced my rap partner to Nick. Then he'd just take us to like Latin Quarters, Union Square, the world, different places. Wow. And we were KG. Mm-hmm. So when we go to places like the Zodiac in the Bronx, 201 parties in Harlem, like, shows with Mike and Dave trying to do, 201. I remember I saw EPMD for the first time. KG took us over there. We saw EPMD when they just dropped their first record. It's custom. You know what I'm saying? That and the other side, it's my thing. But they just did that 2 songs standing on top of a lunch table in the lunchroom. That's what EPMD. And then the same night, they went to the rooftop. We went to the rooftop and they performing over there. We saw them one night. We just went to 2 spots, but that's how it was. Like, we got a show over here. It was a lunchroom and a stand on lunch table. Rock and stand in a little stage, and then we got another. We're gonna go over to the rooftop. It was over there too. We got in over there. So there was a moment that I was like, damn. But KG took me under his wing. The very first time I was ever in a professional recording studio was KG. He put me in the studio. This studio called Rock. The studio. What's the guy named Kenny Scott Studio? His studio was called K Rock Studio. K Rock. But Kenny Scott got killed. He got killed. I think he passed away. Somebody shot him in his studio. So he died. But I recorded my very first song. It's called Don't Bite My Style. I don't have a recording of it, but when it started off, KG was on the intro of it. I was like, yo, I'm the Rhyme Respected Percee P. And he's like, yo, I'm the almighty KG, Mr. Cole. Crush. Production. Then the beat dropped. And so I was rhyming with technical rhymes, so the big words. I was how I was rhyming back then. But so it meant something to me because it's like it's KG and it's taking me places going. So it's like a big brother to me to this very day. Just like Tila Rock, you know what I'm saying? Tila Rock took me under his wing because he know my uncle, so it was like my oldest brother, yo. Percee, I know Percee, yo, I don't know. That's my brother. It's come my grandma. Yeah, that's yo. And Tila Rock, yo. So if you go like Tila Rock, shout out to him. If you go to Tila Rock Facebook page, you see that he has his back of his profile, his picture of me and him and J Rock, TJJS1 in the studio. Mm-hmm. We all his backdrop of his Facebook profile is us in the studio. So much respect to that right there is like a privilege and honor for someone like that to use that picture as like the backdrop of his Facebook.
Yeah, everybody sees, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so I'll say that's like heroes. Tila Rock is one of my heroes too. The big words, the vocab. I was like, yo, this is one of the dudes right here, fam. So those are like the kings to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Definitely respect to Tila Rock. Yes, definitely. Yeah. It's a great thing to see MCs show respect for other MCs to the point where they can quote their lyrics. I've seen Mos Def do this for MF Doom. I've seen Lord Finesse do this for you. How does that feel to have one a person that you came up with?
Yeah, that feels good because it's like these are MCs that rhyme, but for them to actually take time to listen to how you said it and appreciate how you flow. Damn, you said, you said this, it's like you listening, like, you know what I'm saying? But it's appreciation to put ego to the side to show like, nah, you feel. Then to say, I want you on my shit, you know what I'm saying? Put a whole pride. And we even did a tour together, me and Lord Finesse. So that made it like the icing on the cake, because I feel like we have such history together. If we tap into our history, we might could make more out of it. You know, just like the verses that they be doing now.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't. We. It was like we were celebrating ourselves. We didn't come to battle each other. We came like, yo, I made a name for myself. I'm from the Bronx like you. You made it big. You look who you. You're legendary dude, producer, DJ. Let's do something together. Without us just being together is historic. You know what I'm trying to say? So we went to Europe. We went to Europe. The first people that even to book us was the UK. The first show. It was 2014, July 14th. July 14th, July 21st. No, it was June. June 21st, June 21st, 2014 was the first time me and Lord Finesse ever had a show together. I'm talking about book together. Not me coming on stage with him. No, I'm doing a show.
Actually, both of you. Mm-hmm.
They booked us to UK, Bristol, UK, the first people. Sip the Juice. I believe those are the promoters. Sip the Juice brought Percee and Lord Finesse to Bristol, UK. One show. It was sold out. People from everywhere, all over Europe. People flying from everywhere because it's one show. They know when we did the show, it was the 25th anniversary. So it was like, yeah, Percee, Lord Finesse, one time only, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the legendary rap battle. Right now it's the 32nd. Next year will be the 33rd anniversary of that battle. No, the 32nd anniversary of that battle next year. No, 33rd, my bad. 33rd anniversary of that battle. But it's just the idea that we came together, and when we came together, it was exactly as planned. Every show was sold out. We did that one show in Bristol. That show was sold out to the point where a promoter that I know from Amsterdam, he said, y'all want to put a tour together for y'all to do Europe. So December, because the first show in Bristol was June 21st, 2014. So December 2014, he said, y'all want to bring you on Finesse to come to Europe. So we did like 6 shows, and all the shows was packed. So that was like us letting people see, and it was like a celebration. Yo, these dudes battled back in '89. Look it up right now. They still here doing it.
Still tearing it up, yeah.
So it was just like, see, they were both looking at like, yo, man, I just think we need to do that more often. I know he don't want to rap no more, but I just think even us showing up somewhere, just like this, me and you talking, with a Lord Finesse sitting there with us, right? That would just be historic in itself. It happened one time in LA. My people from Breakbeats and Rhymes, you know, they did it.
Yeah.
He said, y'all let's do it, because they thought of the historic value of it, just having us together. See, Lord Finesse was coming to LA. He told me, yo, I'm coming out to LA, Pete, word. Yo, what you want to do, an interview? That's what I said. Yeah, radio. I do it. So I called my people from Breakbeats and Rhymes, and they said, hell yeah. We had been for that, because they knew nobody had us ever. They did it, and he came through, and they became historic. So I'm just trying to say, sometimes you got to make moments. It might not be a record. If 2 artists, let's just say 2 artists are standing right there, they never did a song in the studio. If there's 2 dope artists, they never did nothing together, but somebody pull out a camera, and then you be like, let me get a picture of y'all. Oh, yo, drop a little something. What's that rhyme you said on the song? You just say it wrong. It could be something you wrote. Then this dude say his verse from a song. That's the legendary footage right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're looking at it from that perspective, I seen the footage of like Muhammad Ali standing with Malcolm X, and then Miles Davis and like somebody else, totally different aspect, but all in one photo. Like, yo, that's like, what? Oh shit, I know y'all rocking like that. Like, but it's like that. You can make moments just from people standing in one picture. They ain't never had to record nothing, but it's just showing the camaraderie that we all connect and we acknowledge each other. So even like when I put my playlist together, that's me acknowledging my people I worked with in the past. That's me sharing. I ain't forget who you is, family. I appreciate working with y'all, but I'm gonna let people know I know all y'all. You might do one song, but that's me trying to reach out to and let people know I appreciate y'all. Yeah, I'm proud of y'all, especially if y'all went on and became legendary people still, and y'all still shining like me. Then it makes me proud to see them shine too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. And I just put your playlist in the comments for those that are watching right now with us.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. It's just all about just trying to preserve the legacy and the history. And I really think if people just driving around, they got nice sound. Play that playlist, the Percy P songs of future. Just throw it on, man. Just rock out. Play that. That sound good. I ain't saying it because it sounds good. And I even made, because look, I don't even DJ, but I even made on my YouTube channel. I made a playlist R&B shit. I listen to slow jams and all that. I do. I listen to all of the old 70s, Blue Magic stylistic, Temprees, Main Ingredients stylistics, all that. Red music. If you're a producer, you hear that. Oh, I'm catching some loops off this and making something. So yeah, I be some that dude. So I put it on there. It's on my channel. Percee P Love Gems. Love Gems. Let's throw that on there. So give me a chance to see me in a broader perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, he ain't just in the rap. He like this kind of stuff too. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah. Definitely.
Well rounded.
Now we spoke about the early beginnings of hip hop, and you will be in there. We spoke about your time in LA as well.
Yes.
One part we didn't speak about, which is important to me, and I'm sure is important to you, LaGuardia High School.
No, I went to art and design.
Art and design. Yeah. Art and design. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that was some good times. That was still me. That's me before I made a record, but I still was rapping. So it was some good times. I went to school with people like Pharaoh March, Prince Poe, but see, they wasn't around rapping at the time as like organized. But as organized community, there's simply two positive MCs. But this is before they would even do it. When I was around at the tables, Pharaoh March used to do like human beatbox. But Pharaoh was a grade ahead of me and Prince Poe. Prince Poe was Larry, Pharaoh was Troy. So when I used to go to in the lunchroom, Troy used to be at the table, but he didn't rhyme. He used to do a beatbox. I'm banging on tables rhyming. I know how to rhyme and bang at the same time. Like the battle do in the lunchroom, people stand on tables watching big crowds and stuff. They would know, like Pharaoh knows, Prince Poe knows, and people stood around watching the lunchroom snipers, and then after school, 59th Street train station, right there with Lexington, a battle dudes in a train station. My man Kenny X, at the time, Kenny Muhammad, I don't know if you know Kenny Muhammad, but Kenny Muhammad, him and beatbox, he was with me. I battled some dude 59th Street train station. This is crazy. Real talk, not no lie, sound crazy. Percee P battling an MC named Puka P. Percee P versus Puka P. Percee P came with the bass controller. Bass controller is Kenny Muhammad. Battling some dude named Bass. Puka P bought a dude named Bass.
Wow.
Bass controller. I'm not lying. I swear to God. God knows that's a battle. You talk to Kenny Muhammad. Look him up online. He's ready.
I'm familiar with Kenny Muhammad. Yeah.
Yeah, he could tell you. He was my human beatbox. We went to 59th Street about his dude. He bought a dude named Bass with him, and his name is Puka P, and I'm Percee P.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenny Muhammad went on to win the Apollo Theater at the time when he was Kenny X, and then now he's Kenny Muhammad. But in school, he was called the bass controller. In high school, Kenny Muhammad was the bass controller. He was from Far Rockaway in the projects. What was it, Far Rock Projects, Edmond, something like that? That's what he's from.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I had some good times, high school days, lunchrooms, battling, art design, big ass duffel, like zip bags, had the big ass T-squares and the big pads and shit carrying it. You know what I'm saying? All that, those days. So Lexington train line, all that packed days. I remember some good times. I didn't know that I would make a record, after the year I got out of school, but I'm happy because I could look back and I remember some good times. Kwame went to high school with us too. When I was in the 12th, Kwame was in the 10th grade. And the first time Prince Poe ever did a show, he'll tell you, he could say it in his interviews too. He said it in an interview. He said it's his first time ever performing ever was with me, Prince Poe. He said it was me and this dude named Earl. This dude Earl from the Bronx name was Dynasty, but me, Prince Poe, and Earl rhymed in art and design talent show. Like a talent show for school. So we called ourselves A&D All Stars. That's what we called ourselves for that show. And the sound system messed up, and Kwame jumped on drums and just started playing drums and we was rhyming like that. It really happened. But those are those stories that Prince Poe knows and he mentions too. If you ever heard Prince Poe interviews, I asked him, what's the first time you ever performed? He said, my shit before March, I did my very first performance with Percee P and on design with this cat named Earl. And all of us do. That's his. Yeah, he'll tell you that too. Yeah. So when I made my first record, it was in '88. I got to 87, but when '88 came along, my songs was like on Red Alert Show, and even Kiss FM, Hank Love, Boston 2, 105.9, WNWK. So people was hearing me. They all heard you on Hank Love Show, Pete. And I had their numbers. So I remember Pharaoh was like, Troy was like, yo, Pete, man, me and Larry rhyming now. Because Larry was rhyming, but like that last year, I remember him just rhyming Larry, Prince Pope. But when earlier years, they wasn't rhyming together. So I was like, so he started rhyming. But it was like when I got out of school, Troy was like, yo, Pete, yo, me and Larry rhyming together. We're a crew now. Word, y'all rhyming? Okay. Yeah, I want you to come to our session. We got a studio in the studio, Jamaica, Boston, Archer. And it's a studio called 1212 Studios. Come there. And I went there and we met Paul C. Legendary Paul C. Peace. So that one time we went, I came there with my partner Danique and brought our DJ, he came with us. We all went there, but we met Paul C. at that time. Just that one time. So we just stumbled upon it. Wow, I met him that one time and we was there at 1212 Studio. And then 12, he got a dope interview too. His family members are keeping his legacy alive. But it's a internet Instagram page, Paul C page. If you go in there, you see that they put clips of artists acknowledging him when his birthday passed, like last year. They had asked me, because even though I didn't work with Paul C, when I had mentioned the fact that one of my cousins was working with him. Because my cousin that said that introduced me to Akinelli, them, he used to go to 1212. His father and them owned an incense in a store that sold like incense and all kinds of stuff right next to 1212. So he said, let's do little demos. And he knew Paul C. He's somebody that did recordings with him. I said, yo, you should talk to the family, man, because you did songs with him. But because he's not famous, he's not thinking that people maybe want to hear. I'm selling you a fan. Nobody can take it away from you. You have songs, you have stories that you could be adding to this documentary that they're talking about making on him. You need to do that. But I went down there anyway. The family member asked me when Paul C, not this birthday, but I believe like the last birthday, like 2 years ago, they asked me, could I go to 1212 and give him a shout out? So I was thinking they would send this to every artist. So when his birthday came, I went down all the way to 1212, right in front of the door. The studio was still there, but the studio ain't there, but the doorway where you go to studios there. Building's there, so I stood right in front of him saying, yes, Percee P. That shout out, happy birthday, shout out, rest in peace to 1212, to Paul C. Rest in peace, and happy birthday, happy birthday, and all that. So I said all that. But it's the fact that when I saw it on the page, you see all these people like Super Level C and Casino Rudd, all the people from that past was giving him shout outs. And I was like, wow. It's like right now you see seeing them in the future, like 2021, like shouting them out. I was like, wow, this is crazy just to. But the guy knew I didn't work with him, but he knew I was there. Just to me that one time, still wanted me to just make a contribution. I did that. And Pharaoh was working with him, and OC, and they came in the studio, so that was crazy. Yeah, man.
That's great. That's definitely great. And your appreciation through other artists, even currently, still shows, because a few years ago, maybe 2019, you were on Pennsylvania producer Vanderslice's album.
Yeah.
With DJ Eclipse.
Yeah. The best verse money can buy, huh? That was the name of his title of that song. The first verse, the best verse money can buy. That's what he titled the song down. That was dope. But yeah, Eclipse. That was our first time working. Because I never did know Eclipse, but Eclipse used to have me on his show. I felt honored because he used to manage Fat Beats for the owner. When I used to stand out there, he used to be the manager of the store, but he didn't own it. But I remember during those times, this what made me appreciate Eclipse more too, because I was one of the few cats that he could actually come to. He had shows when I used to stand my Fat Beats. He had a show, the 80s show. It was strictly 80s hip hop. And he told me, yo, Percee, I'm going to play your song because my first record was 88. So I made it to that show. Most of these artists wasn't around the 80s. only a few cats is the 80s. Kane is 80s. Fuji Rap 80s. You know, like people that right now from the 80s. How many artists that you know from the 80s? Scarface from the 80s, Chuck D from the 80s, Keras One from the 80s. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people present, I'm talking about presently right now, still active, ain't from the 80s. You might be from 90s, early, you know what I'm saying? So I was honored to just be like, wow. He acknowledged it. He had my record. He had it. He played it. I was like, wow, it's crazy. Just to know that. And he knew that because he did work shit. He knew that about me. He been around for a long time. So when Bandit Spice threw me in that song, it was just, he said, yeah, he just going to be doing a cuss on this. So I just dropped my verse, but when it came out, I heard the cuss. And I was like, wow, I got a chance to at least finally, you know what I'm saying? Did something with you. It felt, felt good. And I threw that song on my playlist too. So on that, I believe it's like probably the fifth song on that playlist or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Bandit Slice. I see him like trying to do more stuff. Like I'll be seeing on the post with beats. So I told him, yo, you need some heat, fam. You know what I'm saying? Let him know. I saw him saying in the post, Percee P was my favorite rapper one time. I don't know if he still feel that way, but I saw him say that in the post. My favorite rapper is Percee P, favorite MC. Mm-hmm. So I just say, hey, you working on shit and sound good too. I'm listening. And I'm like, yeah, well, ain't nothing changed but the decade. I still got bars. I still got
it. Yeah, definitely. Yep. That's dope. Yeah, definitely dope. And another artist that I'm a fan of that you worked with is Los Angeles MC Pause One.
Oh,
did that Avalanche Warner remix.
Yeah, that's my brother. Did Pause One too. Good dude. He's a good guy, man. Very good, humble cat. And he's dope. And we did tours together too. Me and him just did like a on the road, just go out there and just go get it kind of tour, And I came off the tour, I went to the East, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna come out there and we're gonna hit the road and meet me in the middle, like in the middle of the United States somewhere. But that's where I had to go to meet him, jump on a plane, do there, and then we're gonna take it from there and just hit the road. So it was crazy, but that's my bro. He's a good dude. He work hard. And you see him putting a lot of work, doing a lot of stuff, man. So on my playlist, I threw him on there too, because it's like me acknowledging you and your hard work, and I want you to be a part of my legacy as well,
Definitely.
Put people in and people that work with me, man. I mean, like, listen, the songs keep going. I'm gonna throw that on my playlist. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be there. That's something reference. You can say, no, I work with Percee. Go to this playlist. You see it. I'll handpick stuff, put on there. So it's like, yo, fam, you're a part of this, man.
Yep. Percee P, man, I'm telling you, decade after decade, I continue to appreciate the music from the past to the present, and for artists out there that you work with, it's great to hear your story tonight, because a lot of the artists that you work with, you had already built a relationship with them years prior, and then later on come to see some of the dope work that you did with them.
Yeah, A$AP Rocks. A$AP Rock, before he was famous, it's crazy because, I could say the backstory on that. I used to, sell tapes and CDs everywhere, Rocksteady Universities, anywhere with hip hop oriented. But Rocksteady University, it was this dude named Plain Pat. It's a white guy that met me. He bought my tape off me. I was selling cassettes. I don't believe a CD at the time. So he bought a CD from me. He was like, yeah, you Percee P, y'all got one of the CDs. But he was like, yo, I work in a studio. It's called Gray Bar Studio. I worked there. I engineered it. But yo, if you ever need to record it, you could just come, knock out songs. You just come. Word? All right. So when I got there, it was a dude named Mike, his partner, Mike Delaney. That's his name. His producer name was Dub L. So both of them produced. Pat, he was a producer too. He called himself Plain Pat. So
I remember.
They encouraged me that, yo, you could just come, right? So Plain Pat, I introduced to C-Ray's Walls, and he wound up producing C-Ray's Walls in that same studio, whole first album. And then Dub L, when he met me, he's like, yo, man, I'm doing this song. I was knocking out some songs, but while I was there, he asked me, yo, I want you to jump on this song I'm doing for this girl named Ann Colville. I'm doing these beats she's singing, but it's like trip hop, but I'm doing a hip hop remix to one of the songs. I want you to jump on it with my artist named ASAP Rock. He's a dude that he's working with. I heard him, yo. All right, I'll do it. Sound good. That song's called Coward of the Year. And the DJ scratching is the DJ that when I first come to the studio and I needed cuts, JS1, I had him come. So JS1 was coming, who I met through Tila Rock. So JS1 was just cutting it. And Jabel was like, yo, you dope, man. Why don't you jump on my stuff? So JS1 is the one scratching on the song Coward of the Year with me and A$AP Rock. And that song was the first song A$AP Rock ever did on the record. Like with Violin, before he got famous. And look what he went to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Went to, Def Jux and Big, one of the hugest underground cats. So I'm just trying to say, I feel good when I see artists take it and go somewhere and boom. And it's like, yeah, I might have did one song, whatever, but when I see you blow up, I had another cast I work with from Chicago, Rhyme Fest, by Kill. Shout out to him, he's dope. Working with Twister, Rhyme Fest, worked with Kanye West, right? Jesus Walks and all that. And then I did way back before all that. Like I worked with them, so to see them go where they at, it made me feel proud because they brought me out to Chicago like in '96. And it's around that time I came over out there. I was much younger, but they still had the appreciation for bringing me out from Old Man, Panic, and all them cats. And rest in peace to my man Big Juan, who's one of the guys that bring me out. But they took me to shows like Time Travel Show, Kevin Beecham, and KPF. So a lot of the shows, Elbow Room. Shout out to EC Illa, dude from Chicago I met through them, and just Ranch 13, just people out there that I met. So I'm just saying, I acknowledge and see this is long ago, but I still remember the stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Acknowledging people.
That's respect.
Acknowledgement means a lot. So I'm doing this because sometimes when people acknowledge you, sometimes it's like, wow, it makes you feel good that people ain't forget you. And see, like with you, we reached out and asked me to be on the show. I did it. It was like there's someone who appreciates what you have, what you offer. And that's why, we do this for the kids enough to know my story. You know what I'm saying? I'm share this with this platform. I hope people can appreciate what I offer.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, people still out there, checking for you, and I'm sure the way we was talking about the Law Finesse and your battle, that the footage is. I'm sure there's people out there younger than us that are in awe of what was done back then, and that right there creates more fans for your music.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to be able to have something that go back that far, that people can be and they can look back and then look at it and write about it and relive it, and it's kind of like giving birth to it, and breathing that life. Like Double XL magazine one time wrote about it, like 6 legendary rap battles. All times, and that was one of the battles. It started off with that battle on the list. The first battle was Kumo D and Busy B, and me and Lil Finesse stuff. And it's crazy because Kumo D and Busy B battle was like me and Lil Finesse, 2 80s battles, and then the rest was 1990s, then the 90s. Supernet, Craig G, I think it was somebody. I think it might have been Eminem or somebody else. But like our battle, just for it to be in the '80s, predated a lot of stuff. And look at the rap battle now; it's a big thing now. Got a battle league online, but to be a part of something like that, like hell, you had a legendary rap battle. It might not be as famous as some of these battles because the platform that they're on. But I still feel a lot of those battle leagues. Let's just say like Smack and all that stuff. I still think, what if they had a battle and they said, July 13th, we want to acknowledge Percee female finesse for this battle, legendary battle took place. We don't even have to be there. What if that, like before it started, somebody just had a kind of like acknowledgement or something on the screen, clip, and it shows how we're still here. Much respect to these brothers, still went on to make greatness. And a lot of those battles that's there is going to be the same way. With those artists coming like y'all battles do way back. Like Meek Mills was in battles back then, Party all day, head down, so man, rest in peace, same birthday as me. But it was a legendary rap battles, right? So it's always like something that can create history. But I just feel proud to be a part of something historic. That when people go back, real enthusiasts can go back to and say, yo, this was right. we was lucky to even capture something like that. And we didn't even realize when we was catching that battle that we was even catching. We were going to be having some
what's going to come to be. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'll tell you the backstory of that real quick. I didn't know this. I found this out through Lord Finesse through his interviews. Lord Finesse was in a new 1989 New Music Seminar. Remember those New Music Seminars?
Mm.
So the day after, I was battling him on July 13th, 1989. So July 14th, the day he's supposed to be in the New Music Seminar. But he said in his interviews, yeah, I heard about the dude, P. So I said, let me go over here and battle this dude real quick. Because it's like practice for tomorrow. But he said in his own interview, he said, yo, the hardest battle I've ever had in my life was Percee P. That said a lot, because, New Music Seminar.
That says a lot, yeah.
People all over was like, oh man, he said that his word, that was the hardest battle I ever had, Percee P. And then 1990 New Music Seminar, I was in the New Music Seminar 1990. Lyric theater. I didn't win, but guess what? I still made it because you gotta submit tapes. Well, nationwide, people submitting tape with like 4 verses. They listening from all over. I was one of the probably 20 people to be in there. So that said right there, right? I ain't had to win, but alert to say first, Ultra Magnetic came down, Tim Dog, IT was there, Finesse, Percee P. I remember people was telling people, Maestro Fresh West met me there. He heard say I lost. But guess what? In the cipher, people rhyming on ciphers. That's what they heard. Nice. And that's the Maestro like, yo, P, get your math plan. You nice. And when I got quotable in the Source magazine, he called me, yo, I saw that shit in the Source. I was telling dudes about you. And that Source kind of let people know, like, nah,
real deal.
Problem. I kind of lived up to their expectations and people have said that. I had some good times and it ain't over. The curtain's still open. The store's still open. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, as long as the skills are still there.
Oh yeah.
Let them flourish.
Yeah. And I don't really listen the way I used to. Some people say, "What do you listen to?" They ain't like back in the day. Listen to Red Alert, Systematic, Long, also to Gang Love Show. Give us props to Chuck Chill Out on. So I listen to people on different people. I listen to shows, but it's not the same. So I like what I like. If I hear something good, okay, it's dope. But I don't stay listening the way I did when I was younger. I just stay home, say, "Oh, it's magical. I'm gonna get a tape." And sitting there.
You anticipate it, yeah.
Nah, it's like it's just too much. Because I got life. Life catches up. You just gotta do other stuff. You gotta get sleep. So stuff like that, and you just but you still try to stay active and put your stuff out. Like you still here, man. So social media can kind of help too. Social media is a plus, but also it's a hindrance. It also kind of it made I'm just happy I'm from the era of the old days where you put in your work. I was on the street. But this was the days with the park jam days. They brought out their own sound systems in the parks. So anybody that got any kind of notoriety was people that had to put in the work and earn it. So I put in the work. I went to the streets on tapes and hit different shows and clubs to sell my stuff. But nowadays, you got dudes that won't do none of that. They rather post online. And this is one of my quotes. I'm going to say it to you. One of my quotes, Percee P. said, rappers are artists. Rappers or artists would rather pay to play, pay for views, pay for following, instead of paying dues for success. I'll say it again. Rappers would rather pay to play, pay for views, pay for followings, instead of playing dues for success. And it's not hating on them, but it's like people rather, instead of going to the open mic circuit, rhyming ciphers, the stuff that I had to do for years, I ain't doing that. I'm gonna just pay this little to get my views, my fake following or whatever. Something could boost your following up, but just paying, no, you know what I'm saying? I ain't doing none of that. It's like, nah, I just got my star, my blue check on my Instagram yesterday. I said this to my wife. I said, so you trying to tell me it took somebody to validate the real Percee P? I am the real Percee. I just blue check supposed to be validating I'm the real Percee. So it's just like, this is crazy. But it's sad that we come
the grind's not the same.
I'm posting on my page. Why would you not give me something to say I'm the real? I am the real Percee.
Is it real one? Yeah,
it's valid. But it's just like people, you got to go to get somebody else to validate you when you probably was around longer than the people that you need validation from. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just like, man, it don't make no sense, but I just got this shit. And to me, I'm just like, what, this supposed to make me efficient? I had to laugh at it. I'm like, man, it's some bullshit.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Percee P, everyone. You know, I appreciate the stories that you gave us, you know, tonight, and we definitely got to get you on there because I know you got more stories. And
thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. I had a good time chopping it up with you. Feel free, man. Like I said, share that music. Hope your followers hear this. Yeah, go on my just go to YouTube and type Percee P songs and features. Or if you go on my IG, I'll put the link right on my profile, my page. And if y'all want to hear some good R&B, good music, my Percee P Love Gems. I got other little playlists on my channel, but when you go on my YouTube playlist, just subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to build my followers up. And I got less than 1,000 followers, but you know, all these years, you know, I've been seen by way more than 1,000 people. So
yeah, absolutely,
people definitely got to press like and click on my stuff. You know, I reach out to you myself. It's me. You really talking to me. And it's not like somebody got to talk to somebody else to talk to me. You talk to me.
Yeah, talk directly.
You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, brother. Keep doing what you do, brother. I appreciate you.
Definitely. And we, as always, will continue to put out the word for your music and your playlist as well.
Yes, sir.
Respect that.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. And on behalf of our HHDG media crew, which is myself, Wiki, as we seen the mayor that was here as well, T. Smith, Rock Vader KB, and our man Skelly Top. We're gonna say peace.
Peace. And I'm gonna give you that drop when I shoot a video drop for you. So just type it in exactly everything one said. I got you. I'm sending the video and via DM like that.
Definitely. All right.
One love.
All right, man.